Good afternoon, partners. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you are all safe and healthy. My name is Maurice Altar. I head the Marketing Communications Group of VSTECS. Maayong hapon kaninyong tanan. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted all facets of our lives and livelihood. Businesses have been forced to employ quick fixes and workarounds in order to survive and thrive in the new normal. At the heart of this need for organizations to reinvent is the importance of technology. We need to utilize available technologies so that we would be able to sustain relationships, improve collaboration, enhance customer engagement, transform businesses, find new revenue streams, and most importantly, survive in the post-pandemic era. Those who have been fast in embracing digital technologies in their operations have managed to survive. Today, we will talk about some of the most important solutions and technologies that you can deploy to help your respective customers with their digital transformation journey. Our keynote speaker will share with us some important economic data as to how this pandemic has affected our local economy, including some figures that highlight the impact of lockdowns on the Visayas region. More importantly, these figures will guide us on what to expect in the upcoming months and where we should focus our initiatives. But before we begin, allow me please to acknowledge the presence of our speakers. From the National Economic and Development Authority, we have the Regional Director for Region 7, Director Efren Carion. Good afternoon, sir. We are also joined today by our COO and Executive Vice President, CEO rather, VSTECS, Sir Jimmy Go. Good afternoon, sir. We are also joined today by our COO and Executive Vice President, Princess Chua. Good afternoon, Sis.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
I would also like to acknowledge Leah Season, Third AVP and Channel Manager, handling our provincial volume business. And Hannah Dimaron Singh, our Senior Branch Manager for Visayas. Mayong hapon, Hannah. From HPE Philippines, we have the Category Manager for HPE Compute, Ms. Abatan. Good afternoon. From Huawei Philippines, we are joined today by two gentlemen, starting with Renel Loreja. He is a Huawei Solutions Manager for IP, and Christian Glenn Hatol, Huawei Solutions Manager for Cloud and Artificial Intelligence. From Trend Micro, we have Jessica Bernardo, Trend Micro's pre-sales consultant. And from Nutanix Philippines, we have Martin Awi Sindyong, Nutanix Systems Engineer. Partners, feel free to send us your questions or the questions that you may have rather for our speakers through the chat or Q&A window. We will also have some games and raffle to make this virtual event more engaging. We will be raffling off 5 relevant items. Okay, one is a VSTECS bike, 2 TT Racing gaming chair, and 2 pieces of ECV's air purifier. So please stay with us until the end of the event. Moving on, allow me to call on the President and CEO of VSTECS, Sir Jimmy, for the welcome address.
Thank you, Maurice. Good afternoon and welcome to the digital transformation session by VSTECS. Okay, during these pandemic times, IT industry is one of the luckiest industry. Demand for notebook has surged, and even for tablets. Notebook and tablets are needed for online education and for work from home. Unlike other industry, our demand has increased, and we are truly blessed. And in order for any company to survive during this pandemic, they need to digitally transform. Digital transformation is the only way to survive during this crisis, both for big enterprise and SMB. And this goes beyond the delivery of notebooks or printers only. Okay. In VSTECS Philippines, we provide different kinds of solutions. We have desktop and notebook solutions, mobility solutions, server and storage solutions, hyperconverged, VR and backup, POS, AIDC, networking and security solutions, software solutions, AI and RPA, data center solutions, and many more, to name a few. Okay. And in order to be successful, we need to focus on a certain niche. And VST ECS is more than willing to assist and to support you in giving value to our end user by helping them digitally transform during this era of pandemic crisis. I hope that you will find the sessions today useful and productive. We have very good speakers from different vendors, and I hope that you learned a lot today. Kong hei fa choy and happy Valentine's Day to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Jimmy. At this point, allow me to direct your attention to our corporate video for a quick update on the latest solutions we have added to our portfolio. If I may just mention, I think 2020 was one of the busiest year we had. We have added a lot of brands to our portfolio. Please watch this video.
In a world where technologies provide the impetus for business survival, digital transformation is no longer a choice. One company that drives innovation is VST ECS Philippines Incorporated. Discover our passion. This is what drives us to continue to partner with the best and innovative brands in the ICT industry. Through the years, VST ECS has evolved to become an IT distribution powerhouse, offering an extensive breadth of solutions for retail, commercial, and enterprise markets. From our humble beginnings, we have embraced the shifts in technologies and economies to bring the best brands to our channel partners. VST ECS Philippines Incorporated, a member of the VST ECS Group. We are the leading ICT distributor in the country. We offer choices to help you grow, transform, and thrive in the new economy. Notebooks, consumer and commercial. Desktops, consumer and commercial. Virtual desktops. Workstations. Printers and copiers. Supplies. Mobility. Gadgets and accessories. Lifestyle, gaming, servers, storage, power management, 3D printing, networking, wired and wireless, software-defined network, network security, data backup and protection, big data, hyper-converged infrastructure, software CAD and graphics, software enterprise solutions, commercial digital display, IP surveillance, POS solutions, AIDC solutions, document imaging, collaboration solutions, cloud computing, containers and microservices, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence and robot process automation, data center solutions and services, managed services, everything as a service, subscription, training and education, agility. The way to survive, rebound, and thrive in the new digital economy is to bend, pivot, change, and adapt to the changing times. We will be relentless to look for ways to anticipate the needs of our customers through our portfolio, infrastructure, services, and people. With the demands of the new normal, We have embraced digital technologies and online platforms for improved collaboration, enhanced customer service, and business continuity. We put greater emphasis on the well-being of our people by strictly observing and implementing health protocols. While some things may have changed due to the pandemic, our commitment to deliver greatness and serve as technology enabler remains the same. Our workplaces will be an important venue for collaboration. Technology availability, delivery of services, and business continuity. Reach. We will explore possibilities to make technologies accessible to their intended audiences. By partnering with IT retailers, online channels, corporate partners, system integrators, born in the cloud businesses, ISVs, mobility and specialty stores, and many more. Leadership. We will continue to lead in the availability of ICT solutions. We will embrace digital revolution and convergence, because the true measure of our success is not summarized in the awards we have received, but in the way we have transformed businesses and individuals. Great products, great people, great solutions. Partner with us. We are VST ECS Philippines Incorporated, your link to technology.
Thank you. The following video showcases our new office in Cebu. I am sure you haven't been to this office yet since we just moved in early last year. Let me call on Hannah Di Marunsing, our senior branch manager for Visayas, to give us a short overview of the video. Take it away, Hannah.
First of all, I would like to thank our CEO, Mr. Jimmy Go, our COO, Ms. Princess Chua, our third AVP, and our provincial head, Ms. Leia Sison, for your support and time. Maayong hapon, partners and vendors. Maayong hapon, Mao. Advanced Happy Chinese New Year to all. We are very excited about today because since the pandemic, this is actually the first major event that we are doing for our Visayas partners. And coming from where we were in 2020, it is imperative for us to start the new year on a high note by giving thanks to all of you. 2020 was set to be a monumental time for us because it marked our 20th year of operations here in Cebu. And we also relocated from our office of 19 years in Mandaue City to Talisay City. So, of course, we were very excited at the start of 2020 because we would have loved to show you around the new office and, just the prospect of new opportunities and business that it will generate. And then COVID hit, and we all know what happened then. So fast forward to this new year of 2021, where now really there is no turning back from this digital and virtual reality and how we must quickly work our way around it. So we would like to kick off this event with something that we have been wanting to do since last year, and at the same time, adapt to the new ways of doing things in these unprecedented times. A virtual tour of our Cebu office. And we really want to share this with you because this is such a milestone for us, and you, our Visayas partners, are a big part of it. So here we go, let's roll. Maayong adlaw, maupay nga adlaw, magandang araw, partners. Welcome to VSC ECS's Partner Appreciation Day. Kong Si Fatsai. Today we bring to you the auspicious fortune of the year from the Metal Ox as we thank you, our partners, for your business through the years. I'm Hannah Dimaron Singh, Senior Branch Manager for Visayas. VSC ECS, or MSI to our long-standing partners, started operating in Cebu in the year 2000 to cater to the growing economic boom of the Visayas region. We held office at the North Reclamation Area in Mandaue, and today, after 20 years and your support, we are standing now in our new home in Talisay City, Cebu. Let us show you around. ECS has two main businesses, the volume business and the value business. The volume business has three main groups, namely retail, corporate, and mobility.
For retail. Our group offers products that you can find in computer retail shops. For vlogging, writing, gaming, projection, online learning, power, display, printing, and peripherals. We have all the retail solutions for you. Julu Barami here, your channel sales executive under the Corporate Business Group. Our group offers solutions in a corporate or business setting. We offer high-performing servers and storage, cutting-edge commercial notebooks and desktops, business printers and copiers, and point-of-sale systems. This is Faith Bobby, your channel sales executive from the Value team. And our group is all about enterprise solutions for companies with great IT infrastructure requirements.
Over the years, VST ECS has evolved from an IT distribution company to an ICT powerhouse. With our head office in Manila and branches here in the Visayas and in Mindanao, we are here to serve you with great products, great services, great solutions by great people.
Thank you, Hannah. Very nice video. Our keynote speaker will give us the economic outlook for Region 7 and the Visayas. And we are joined today by none other than Director Efren B. Carion, Regional Director for National Economic and Development Authority for Region 7. Mr. Carion is also the Vice Chairperson of the Regional Development Council and Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board, all in Central Visayas. He is also the Head Secretariat of Regional Development Council and the Metro Cebu Development Coordinating Board. He also sits as a member of the Board of Regents or Trustees of the Cebu Normal University, Cebu Technological University, Bohol Island State University, Negros Oriental State University, and Siquijor State College. In his long years in government, he has pursued postgraduate studies in economics, public finance, urban and regional planning and management, and project development and evaluation. Director Carion is a Career Executive Service Officer 3. He is currently the president of the Association of Regional Executives of National Agencies in Region 7. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation. Maayong hapon.
Thank you very much, Maurice. And I would like to extend my greetings to all of the participants and to the organizers of this activity today. Likewise, my special thanks to DST ECS through Hannah Dimaronsing for giving me this opportunity to share with you some economic indicators that we in NEDA has been monitoring basically for the purpose of keeping track of the economy given this current situation of the COVID pandemic. So my presentation is organized into three parts. The first part is what is the what was the pre-pandemic economic performance of Region 7, and then this will be followed by the presentation of some information and data on the economic impact of COVID-19 in Region 7. And then the last part will be prospects for 2021 and onwards. Next slide, please. The economy of Region 7 or Central Visayas grew at an average of 6.36% for the last 5 years, starting 2015 to 2019. By the way, gross regional domestic product is the total value of goods and services produced in the regional economy. And the growth drivers in our regional economy are the following: business process outsourcing. We have also the tourism industry and related industries under the tourism, such as accommodation, transportation, and then we have also retail and trade and real estate and construction. So these are the growth drivers of the Central Visayas economy. In 2019, the regional economy grew by around 5.9%, and this contributed 6.5% to the country's national gross domestic product. We are the fourth largest regional economy after the National Capital Region, after Calabarzon, and Central Luzon. And the total value of the output of Central Visayas is estimated at around 1.25 trillion pesos as of 2019. The slide would show that the biggest contributor of the regional economy are the services sectors, contributing around 67%. And in 2019, this went up to 7.6% in terms of growth rate. And the second biggest contributor to the regional economy is the industry sector, contributing around 27%. And this sector grew 3.1% in 2019. The smallest sector of the regional economy is the agriculture and fishing sector, which is just around 6.4% of the total value of goods and services produced in the region. And this is also the lowest in terms of growth rate at only 1.3%. Let me dwell a little bit on the IT BPO industry of Central Visayas. As of 2020, Cebu City has been considered by Tolons as the number 15 out of 100 top outsourcing destinations in the world. So that is number 15. In terms of the total number of IT enterprises located in economic zones, as of 2019, we have 3,654. And this is encouraging because as of August 2020, during the time of the pandemic, the number of enterprises went up to 3,749. So meaning there has no negative impact on the IT BPO industries and companies operating in the region. And I know for a fact that the 3,749 number of companies or establishments dealing with IT related businesses is the conservative figure, because these are those located inside the economic zones. And we know for a fact that there are a number of enterprises and companies which are located outside of the economic zones. Next slide, please. Let me now proceed to the impact of COVID-19 in the region. The next slide would show the unemployment rates. It's very, very unfortunate, and we have to admit the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic really impacted the employment situation of the region, and in fact the entire country, including the regions in the Visayas, Region 6 and Region 8. Look at the graph here. In the dark colored figure, 3.5, represents the unemployment rate in the first quarter of 2020. recorded in January 2020, where unemployment rate was only recorded at 3.5%, a very low unemployment rate. But during the second quarter, this went up to 16.7%. Please take note that the second quarter of 2020 was the time when a number of places, many of the cities and provinces in the country were locked up, were in lockdown due to the strict quarantine. So unemployment rate went up to 16.7%. And this was brought about, of course, by closures of many business establishments. But fortunately, during the third quarter round of survey conducted by the Philippine Statistics Authority, unemployment rate is a little bit to 11.7% from 16.7% in the second quarter. So we are seeing an improvement in terms of the employment opportunities because business establishments had started to open up. And during the third quarter survey, the unemployment rate went down to 9.9%. We are happy about this development because this indicated that many business establishments had started to open up during the third quarter of 2020. And we expect that this figure will still go down when the fourth quarter labor force survey will be released by the Philippine Statistics Authority. But what I'm emphasizing here, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that starting with the third quarter to the fourth quarter of 2020, our economy had started to open up, and this also eased the unemployment rates we experienced during the second quarter of 2020. The figure would tell us that employment in all industries has declined starting in April of 2020, except for public administration and defense. These are mostly government offices, no? So there was no change as far as the public administration and defense sector is concerned. And unemployment rate in April was recorded at 16.7%. High, very high unemployment rate. This also mirrored the high unemployment rate recorded at the national level and all regions of the country. The tourism industry is one of the hardest hit sectors during the pandemic, where accommodation, food services, and transport belong to. Wholesale and retail sector has also one of the sharpest decline caused by the lockdown. So the graphs there would indicate to us the extent to which the employment situation suffered as far as in 2020 during the height of the lockdown. So as of June 2020, we have also been monitoring the establishments, the business establishments that had been affected by the pandemic. And as of June 2020, we recorded the Department of Labor here in Region 7 has recorded around 9,519 establishments with around 261,800 workers who applied for COVID-19 Adjustment Measures Program or CAMP of the Department of Labor and Employment. And 30% of these establishments implemented flexible work arrangement and 70% closed temporarily. More than half of these establishments are located in the Tri-Cities of Cebu, Mandaue, and Lapu-Lapu here in the province of Cebu and Region 7. But these figures have greatly improved when we saw the figures released by the Department of Labor as of the last December 2020. Let me proceed to inflation, which is also one of the indicators that we are closely monitoring. And inflation, which is a measure of the changes in the prices of goods and services, remained benign in 2020. So we are happy about this development. While there had been spikes in the prices in the first quarter and in June of the second quarter of 2020, this had not reached the level of 3%. And the inflation rate stayed within the vicinity of the low-end inflation target of 2%. By the way, the national government or the Bangko Sentral targeted a range of inflation rate between 2 to 4%. And we are near, as of 2020, the average of 1.9% was just in the vicinity of the low end inflation target of 2%. So this is not something to worry about, although 1.9 inflation rate in 2020 was a bit higher than the 2019 inflation rate of 1.6%. Next slide. Other indicators that we are closely monitoring is power consumption. And power consumption is closely related to industries and commercial establishments as well as residential. In terms of type of consumer, the industrial sector saw the biggest drop in electricity consumption beginning in March when the ECQ started, with so many industries temporarily stopping or cutting back operations. So again, this reinforced the previous slides, which showed that the biggest impact of the COVID-19 pandemic was really felt during the second quarter of 2020. And looking at the consumption of electricity, for example, the industrial users demand for electricity went down starting March of 2020. On the other hand, electricity consumption of residential users went up as most people stayed home or work from home. The red colored line went up starting March of 2020. No? Industry's consumption of power in the third quarter steadily picked up as many businesses slowly resume operation. And look at the blue colored lines. So started in May, started to go up, and June, July, August, September. So we are expecting that consumption of among industrial users would continue to rise up to this time. Let me also show you the situation of the petroleum product consumption. Total monthly consumption in the region declined starting in March and April, with the farthest decline in April 2020 as seen in the graph. No? The lowest consumption level was seen in April. Consumption declined by around 54% compared to the same month in 2019, from around 156 million liters to just around 72 million liters of fuel. But consumption slowly increased starting in the month of May, when restriction was when many ECQ areas went to GCQ in May, and then this continued up to the remaining months, August, September. And we also expect that the figures for October, November, and December would show an increasing trend in terms of consumption. And this would tell us that people have started to move around. And this is also a very good indicator, a gauge for more economic activities as more people are moving around. And this would also include private and public transportation systems. Our economy is strongly driven by tourism. And these aviation figures would tell us that the tourism industry has been greatly affected. The number of flights and passengers has gone down by 95% and 98.9% respectively. Look at the second quarter figures. These are in red figures, negative 95% for number of flights and negative 98.97% in terms of the number of passengers. So practically, there were no air transport movement as of the second quarter of 2020. But we are happy to note that the third quarter figures would tell us a little easing of the number of flights, because this increased from 1,500 to 3,500 in the third quarter, but much below the first quarter level of 27,000 flights here in the region. But there is an increasing number of flights that have started to open starting the third quarter. And similarly, the number of passengers have also increased in the third quarter, and we expect that the fourth quarter of 2020, this would have increased as well. And that also covers cargo in terms of million kilograms, which was also affected by the pandemic. But we saw a great improvement during the third quarter of 2020. Similarly, the shipping statistics would tell us that the second quarter period experienced the highest number of reduction. Went down, ship calls, for example, in the second quarter went down by 78% during the second quarter of 2020, no? Compared to the same period in 2019. But this improved towards the end of the year with a reduction only of around 61% and 56% sa fourth quarter of 2020. The number of ship passengers slightly improved also towards the end of the year, as well as from a reduction of 98% in the second quarter to around 90% in the fourth quarter of 2020. Again, this would tell us that people have started to move around to travel for important businesses or purposes, and this also spurred some economic activities, increasing demand for this kind of services. Container traffic went down also by 31%, not much as passengers and ship calls, but still went down during the second quarter of 2020, but it improved during the third and the fourth quarter of 2020 with much lower decline of only 6.9% and 7.8% respectively for the third and the fourth quarter of 2020. So given this situation, given the impact of COVID-19, let me proceed with the prospects for 2021. Government has been responding to this pandemic, and the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act, or Bayanihan 1, was enacted last March 2020. This is Republic Act 11469, and granting the President additional authority to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of the 2020 budget of government agencies were realigned in response to the pandemic. This was also followed by the enactment of Bayanihan 2, which authorized a total of 165 billion pesos in emergency relief and spending to finance the country's pandemic response and recovery. And this Bayanihan 2 and Bayanihan 1 were sources of funding that have been implemented to soften the impact of COVID-19. Okay. We have also the We Recover as One report, which was released by the Interagency Task Force Technical Working Group on for Anticipatory and Forward Planning last May 2020. And the report details a comprehensive set of measures to mitigate impact of COVID-19 pandemic and enable the economy to recover and transition to a new normal. The CAMP program of the Department of Labor, for example, is one of the programs and projects that granted under Bayanihan 2 to provide some subsidies to workers affected by the pandemic. So as far as the region is concerned, we have also prepared our own COVID-19 regional recovery program that will serve as a tool and guide in responding to the impacts of the pandemic. No, so this has been prepared in collaboration with several government agencies, but also the private sector and the local government units. So outlining the measures and the strategies that we are adopting and will pursue in response to the emergencies brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. So let me proceed and with the prospects and recovery package. So when the economy was restricted in the second quarter of 2020, the GDP or the gross domestic product fell by 16.9%. But the contraction slowed to 11.4% in the third quarter and 8.3% in the fourth quarter of 2020. And this was brought about by the gradual ease of restrictions, a calibrated opening up of the economy in consideration of the health risks. So with the continuous calibrated reopening of businesses, mass transportation system, and also relaxation of the age group restrictions, more economic activities are expected in the next months while waiting for the vaccine rollout. By the way, the government has allocated around 72 billion pesos for 2021 to provide vaccines to the around 50 million Filipinos. And the updated Philippine Development Plan, which is the blueprint of the development of the country, estimates that the economy will grow by 6.5% to 7.5% in 2021 and 2022. So we are quite optimistic that this growth rate will be achieved with the opening up of the economy. Likewise, the extension of Bayanihan 2 budget to June 30 and the budget for the year 2020 has also been extended up to December 31, 2021, meaning the disbursement or the utilization of the budget sa Bayanihan 2 and the budget allocated for the national government agencies in 2020 has been extended or can be spent up to the end of 2021. And this means that government is allowing around 195 billion pesos spending in 2021. And the 2021 approved budget of around 4.5 trillion pesos comprises around 21% of the total GDP or the gross domestic product of the country. And this budget includes 1.1 trillion pesos for infrastructure programs and projects of government. And we expect that this can create around 1.7 million jobs. And the timely implementation of these infrastructure projects will have the biggest impact on our recovery prospects. And the demand for construction materials, the demand for labor will really contribute a lot to the recovery efforts of the country. We are talking here of government spending. We are not yet, we have not included here the spending generated or the prospect generated coming from the private sector as well. So the economic expansion will really depend in part on how businesses, including MSMEs, could recover. And because we know for a fact that these establishments employ majority number of workers. The Corporate Recovery Tax Incentives for Enterprises or the CREATE Bill, which was just approved by the Bicameral Conference Committee of Congress last February 1, will primarily benefit MSMEs and will contribute around 133 billion pesos worth of fiscal incentives in 2021. And the major feature of the CREATE Bill is the lowering of corporate income tax that from 30% to 25% for large corporations and 20% for small and medium corporations. So this will create a lot of incentives from the private sector. And other key economic bills that are given priorities by the government include the following: the Financial Institutions Strategic Transfer or FIST Bill, which will help banks free up capital and funds to lend to more businesses facing liquidity issues. We have also the government financial institutions, unified initiatives to distress enterprises for economic recovery or guide bill. This will help strategically important companies by helping them address any solvency issues. Other uh, bills that are given priorities by the national government for these bills will help improve the economic recovery of the country includes the following: Public Service Act, the Retail Trade Liberalization Act, and the Foreign Investment Act. And we foresee that this will attract more foreign direct investments and create as well more and better jobs for Filipino people. So ladies and gentlemen, opening up of the economy in 2021 will require a cared and calibrated approach given the risks from the new virus strain. But given our experience in the past years, as well as in 2020, we can say that the economy is going stronger now, and we expect that recovery will be starting soon in 2021, and we will be able to recover up to even in the year 2022 and years onward. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you this information. Good afternoon to all of us.
Thank you, RD. Carry on. At this point, before we let you go, we would like to present this plaque of appreciation in recognition of your invaluable time and insight. Let me read the citation. VST ECS Philippines presents this plaque of appreciation to Director Efren Carion, NEDA Regional Director for Region 7, as keynote speaker during the VST ECS Visayas Partner Appreciation Event on Digital Transformation, presented by Jimmy Digo, CEO and President of VST ECS. Once again, thank you, RD, for your time. The physical plaque will be sent to your office in the next few days. Maraming salamat sa oras.
Thank you very much too.
Thank you, sir.
Ngayong hapon, sir. Moving on, our next speaker will share with us HPE Business Solutions for remote workers. Our speaker is Ava Tan. She is currently the category manager for HPE Compute Business Unit, which spans from general purpose to mission critical and high performance computing. Before product management, she started as a grad hire in HPE as a solutions architect. She was acquainted with IT by learning to code at 10 years old and holds a computer science degree from the University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Sir Mao, for the introduction. Good afternoon, partners. And thanks again, VST ECS, for selecting HPE as one of the featured speakers for today. So let me just share my screen. All right, so this afternoon, I will be sharing how you can help your customers get started with an infrastructure that can support today's workforce. So we at HPE, we recognize that truly the pandemic has changed the way we live and work. And as a technology partner or as a technology provider, we remain committed and devoted in providing the best technology that we can offer to enable today's breakthrough and routine experiences. So we at HPE, we have been supporting medical clinics, even education to support remote education and businesses for telework. And also we have provided servers to empower scientific research. And today, more businesses are opening up. We see from the NEDA report that our economy is gradually recovering from this crisis. And we see that many businesses are adjusting to a flexible work arrangement. So maybe you will ask me, we can now just use our laptops, our own devices to just continue working the same way we do when we had our offices. So VDI, it's an actually an opportunity for businesses today, because even though it has presented opportunities for mobility, security, it also presents security and control concerns for companies. So as more businesses open up to flexible work arrangements, there is a great opportunity for us in the IT industry to offer simplified VDI solutions. And normally, there are many questions in adopting a VDI or virtual desktop infrastructure. Typically, it starts with profiling the needs of the employees. And for each company, we can typically or usually segment the needs of our employees into three main profiles. So there are companies which employees just use the usual office application. So we call them the task users. Some companies would have more advanced usage of their virtual desktop. So we can categorize them as a knowledge user. So for those who are using video conferencing, data analysis software, we could typically fall under the knowledge users. I think most of us actually would fall into the knowledge user since we typically have multitasking applications and we do virtual conferencing and virtual events like this. And some companies would even have or even be profiled as a power user. So these companies typically have more advanced software that would require more resources from a PC or desktop. So typically applications such as dynamic web creation, those who are into graphics and engineering would fall under the power user. So we at HPE, we want to make it simple for our customers. True enough, these are trying times, and as much as possible, we want to help our customers and you, our partners, consume technology so that it can really support today's modern workforce. And needless to say, the applications that we have today would really need resources. So earlier, I showed you that there are three main profiles when it comes to VDI. And you might think that if you just use the typical office applications, you don't need as much resource. But chances are, if you are using Windows 10, you would need 50% more resources as you would have if you are using Windows 7. So since our applications have been improving, have been upgraded to the latest features, chances are you would need more resources from your compute. And if your company would be deploying a VDI, you would actually need to have more resources than just your regular server. And in today's portfolio, we at HPE, if you have been selling HPE or have been attending events at HPE, you know that we have plenty of products to serve different needs of our customers. And when it comes to VDI, almost all of our products can support a VDI infrastructure. We can mix and match our servers and storage and customize it depending on the profile of the customer. But today, I will just make it simple. I will walk you through the available configurations or bundles that we have to support small businesses to mid-sized businesses. And the platform that I will be focusing on is our best-selling Proliant server. So it has a very great adoption in the market. Proliant servers have been here in the x86 market since 1993, and we continue to be a market leader for the x86 server market based on this platform. And the bundles that I will show you today is just based on the Proliant server. So you can forget the other products for the meantime. Just know that if your customer would have a very specialized need for VDI, then HPE would have different products to be able to cover that requirement. So I will first feature the bundles that we have for VMware Horizon View. So if your customer is looking for an enterprise grade VDI, you can utilize the solutions that we have together with our alliance partner VMware. So their VDI solution is called VMware Horizon View, and it perfectly runs on our Proliant servers. And this Chinese New Year, we actually have a promo with VSTECS. So we have kept the small businesses in mind when we designed this solution in the market. So customers can start with just 16 to 20 users. These servers come with the VMware Horizon View OEM license already. So if your customer, you profile them as a task user or knowledge user, those who run video conferencing, do virtual events like this, and run multiple office applications, then you can offer the remote work basic. So this is a simplified server configuration. It just uses the CPU to empower the VDI desktops for 16 to 20 users. But if your customer would like to have the same experience as a PC for those 16 to 20 users, we also have the Remote Work Pro bundle. It's also based on the HPE TL380 Gen 10 server, but with the NVIDIA T4 GPU. So if you have been using a gaming PC, you have kids who have a hobby for or a liking to video games, you might be familiar with the NVIDIA video cards. So that same technology is actually available in the servers. And together with NVIDIA and the VMware Horizon View, we can empower the power users or the advanced applications of our customers today. So this is the two bundles, the featured bundles that we have together with VMware. But if your customer is looking for a more simpler approach or they're just trying out VDI for the first time, we also have a collaboration with Microsoft in offering small business solutions for remote workers. So again, this is based on our Proliant series. So we have the tower-based form factor for VDI. So for those who are working in remote branches for small offices, this solution is perfect with them. And we partner with Aruba, our networking division, in providing access points for those who would like to adopt a skeletal or a flexible work arrangement later on this year. And another offering would be the Proliant DL20. So this is based on a rack mount form factor. So if your customer already has a data center, they have procured servers before and would just like to have or add an additional infrastructure for VDI, then this bundle is perfect to them. And together with Aruba, we can have or offer an end-to-end remote workforce arrangement or infrastructure to them. So this is the just the contents of the bundle. So first is the tower-based VDI platform with Microsoft. So we want to make it simple for our partners and customers to consume. So this is already pre-configured. This is already a certified appliance for VDI. We include all of the certified components, including the license that you would need for Windows. So this utilizes the remote desktop service in Microsoft. All right. And we also have the DL20. So this is the rack mount based form factor. All right. So both of the bundles are certified, pre-configured, and also includes the Windows license. So you can get your VDI up and running starting from day one. And I know that we have multiple definitions of small businesses. So I also included here um, bundles that maybe small businesses that employees that are in the range of 50 to 100 employees, so that we can already capture the market and have ready solutions for everyone. So we at HPE, we also offer multiple options for hyperconvergence. And one of the featured solutions that we have is with VMware vSAN. So we have launched a vSAN ready node. So these are pre-configured certified appliances for vSAN. So if your customers are really comfortable with running VMware products and solutions, this bundle is perfect for them. So aside from the profiles that we have for vSAN, we have actually a flavor specific to high-end visualization and VDI. And that is again based on our DL380, similar to the first set of bundles or first set of solutions I showed with you earlier. But this time, it supports more number of employees or users for today's businesses. So this bundle for vSAN ready nodes. Again, it's based on the DL380, and you don't need to worry about performance because it's based on an all-flash configuration. So this is just the description of the bundle. We can start with 100, and as the businesses grow, we can also opt to configure it based on 200 or even 300 users. So everything that you would need in a typical Reliant servers, all of the Gen 10 features, it is available in the vSAN Ready nodes. And what's good about this is that it's a true plug-and-play solution for BDI workloads, right? So this is just a description or the specs of the starting configuration, which is 100 desktops. So it has 36 cores and 256 gig of RAM. So just to give you an idea of what are the available bundles that we have. So the next question you might ask me, why HPE Reliant servers for today's workforce? Okay, so there are a lot of companies offering a VDI solution in the market today as we adopt a flexible work arrangement. But why HPE among all of those providers? So first is what I would like to highlight is the silicon root of trust. So this is something unique with HPE, and it's available in our latest generation of servers, which is Gen 10. I'm not sure if all of you have heard about the big hack, but there was a server manufacturing, of course not HPE, that was found to have been infiltrated with a small chip. And through that chip, they were able to get the most sensitive data of the customers who use that server. So this is the list of the things that we want to happen as a server manufacturer. We want to be able to predict and recognize whether there has been a chip implanted in our servers so that we can protect you, our partners, and our customers from any malicious attack that any hacker or cyber attacker out there might perform. So we at HPE, we value security in our hardware. We have developed this feature called Silicon Root of Trust so that we can check every level of the servers. So typically in the market, we only detect up to operating systems and applications for antivirus. But prior to the Silicon Root of Trust, we didn't have any technology to check whether our hardware or our firmware has been compromised. So with the Root of Trust, we can now complete that stack. We can proactively check whether there have been attacks in the firmware or the hardware level of our server. So that's end-to-end. The checking is performed during our assembly and manufacturing, during our supply chain process, and until the applications are running, the Silicon Root of Trust performs daily checks or even every minute checks just to make sure that your servers and your VDI platform is safe from attacks of hackers. And what's good with HPE servers is that whatever choice that you would make, whether it's a tower or a rack mount server, we can have this thing called OneView. It's a server management platform from HPE that can help you manage and check the health status of your servers. So whether it's an ML, a DL server, or vSAN ready node that you would offer to your customers for VDI, we can use and utilize OneView. So aside from providing you a dashboard, you can also also generate reports, the inventory. So maybe your customer will just start with one server for 16 to 20 users, and then later on, they just adopt a remote workforce arrangement and they would scale their servers. And OneView will help them manage multiple servers across data centers, across sites, or even in a single site, just for them to have an overview of what is the health status and what is happening in the data center, right? So with one view, you can actually deploy multiple templates so that provisioning is much faster. So if your customer is really focused on building their VDI, they can just create a template for VDI so that next time they will buy a server, they will just copy and paste that template. And the template will help them configure the server so that it performs based on the benchmark that they have defined for VDI. And aside from our servers, we are really proud to say that we differentiate ourselves as a technology vendor because we also have a great services team. Aside from just providing the warranty and meeting your customers' SLAs, for a VDI infrastructure, especially those who have customized requirements or exploring to grow their VDI, we can offer advisory and professional services. So if your customers have different profiles, they have task users, knowledge users, or power users, we can help you plan with them and help them design what is the right VDI platform for them. So with the advisory services, we take the guesswork further, just aside from having these bundles for our customers. And for those customers who are using or going to be using VDI for the first time, we also offer educational services. So we have formal courses. Well, now we have virtual classes for both Microsoft and VDI. If your customers are also keen on Citrix, we also offer education courses, and we can also design Citrix bundles for your customer if that's their comfort level. And we know that these have been trying times for our customers and even us. We have felt the impact of the pandemic, and we know that cash is king currently. Our customers before they are just geared towards digital transformation, but today cost optimization is the number one priority. So if your customers would need a VDI but do not have the budget right now to implement a VDI solution, we also offer HP Financial Services. So in the pandemic, in the midst of pandemic, we have actually launched a 2020 payment relief program. So your customers can just pay just a small amount, just 1% of the total contract value, and then defer the remaining balance later on. So we can free up capital and we can help our customers to set up their VDI already so to support their employees. So HPE Financial Services, this is also the arm of HPE that offers buyback, leasing, many financial options to help our customers. And for those who are expanding, if you have customers who have a potential to grow, particularly for VDI, we also offer a consumption model called GreenLake. So GreenLake, this is a technology that combines the on-premise features along with cloud-like features. So you can have on-premise, will have the control of your hardware in your customer's data center or your data center if you're offering hosting services. And then at the same time, you can scale up your infrastructure or your customer's infrastructure according to the actual usage or the actual requirement. So this is really an end-to-end approach that we are taking for VDI. Again, we are very committed in developing the best of the best solution so that we can support the new normal. Uh, these are the featured bundles that we have for VDI. We can start with just 16 to 20 users just to try out the VDI platforms together with VMware. For example, we have the Remote Work Basic and we have the Remote Work Pro. So we have the expertise. We have a great services team called HP Point Next that can help you in the installation, perform advisory services. We have the best server in the market. We have been proud for many years to have started the x86 server technology. And for economics, we offer HP Financial Services. Again, we have the 2020 Payment Relief Program, and we have the Green Lake for those companies who are projecting a high growth to support today's modern workforce. So again, the remote work bundles is now live. You can talk to your VST sales representative for this special promo that we did for Chinese New Year. So our basic bundle starts at 888,000, whereas the other one, which has a higher specs with the GPU, starts at around 1 million for our customers. So these are the SRP. And your feedback is very important to us. If you have certain requirements, if you have questions in mind, you can just type it in the chat box or you can send it to us via the feedback form. So I think Chris could also send the link via the chat box. So for those, but if you can scan right now, you can access the feedback form link via scanning this QR code. And for those who will be responding to our QR code, we will be sharing with you a free ebook about VDI. Today is just a sample, just a teaser of what HP can offer in terms of VDI. But if you need more resources, more in-depth education about VDI, we will give you this free ebook so that you can learn more. So that's it for me, for my sharing today. Thank you so much and advance happy Chinese New Year to everyone. I hope everyone's well and safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ava, and advance happy Valentine's as well. This time we will talk about how Huawei Campus Optic Solution reconstructs network security. Again, partners, please stay with us until the end of the event as we are going to have a raffle after. Our speaker is Renel Loreja. He is the IP Solutions Manager under the Huawei Enterprise Business Group, Huawei Philippines. He has been working for Datacom network projects for more than 10 years. Renel, please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you so much. Maayong hapon sa inyo, lahat. Again, thanks VST ACS for inviting us for this event. Let me share my screen. Okay, so today I'll be discussing more on our Huawei Campus Optic Solution or Passive Optical LAN, which is part of our access network solution. So by the way, aside from the access network solution, we have also our IP network solutions that includes switches, wireless LAN, as well as some of our transmission product, which is DWDM. So today I'll be discussing more on the access network solution, which is passive optical LAN. Okay, so my presentation is divided into 3 parts, which is we'll be discussing more on the industry digitalization direction challenges, some of our optic solution, as well as some of the solution application. So currently, for the past year, as you can see, there's a lot of changes in terms of digitalization. It's not only for offices, but also for different industries, and then most likely for all industries. So we have digital office, digital education, digital cities, wherein based on IDC reports, IDC predicts that at least 55% of organization will be digitally determined by 2020, and it's released a prediction for 2019. And based on Gartner points that 86% of higher education CIO regards IT as a key factors for enabling education business transformation in its higher education industry insight. It was reported by way back 2019. And then according to manufacturing industry survey, based on the IDC report, there will be 84.9% of manufacturing enterprise are going digital, driving business model innovations and business ecosystem reconstruction. So basically for those partners from different industries, so we can see a lot of digitalization for different industries across different in the market. So basically, these are different industry challenges currently, especially for hotels, video surveillance, e-classrooms. And then these are the three major trends, specifically for most of the services over a cloud will be later on, maybe by the year 2025, based on the research, there will be 100% enterprise will be basing on the cloud services. And then there will be a lot of IoT or Internet of Things. As you can see here, we have 100 billion connections or different types of sensors that will be connected in the network. And then there will be at least 50 gigabytes per user per month in 2025. So there will be a lot of demand in terms of network connectivity. And then having those lot of connectivities, of course, we need to converge the management from office security, IoT convergence, as well as office management of multiple networks. So based on those different requirements, so the system or the network infra will be cloud-based architecture. So from the traditional setup right now, there will be a lot of demands on north to south traffic, which low latency for desktop cloud. So basically, directly from the desktop cloud, there will be a lot of network traffic and then demand for low latency for different applications such as video application, including some full HD or 4K video and some other different applications. So flexible evolution, as you can see here, previously we have Cat3 only, which requires, which can accommodate only 10 Mbps of bandwidth. And then this coming years, 1 gig and even 10 gig is possible, especially for connecting different terminal nodes. And then for different services, we need to have an intelligent operation maintenance, or multi-network convergent management, especially for intelligent operation maintenance, reducing dependency on personnel. As you can see here, these are the different services that we can connect to the network, or including desktop cloud, service interconnection, security monitoring, Campus One, smart building, production network, interactive entertainment, as well as Campus IoT. For the interactive entertainment, it includes the VR or the virtual reality that also requires a lot of bandwidth, and then some 4K video. And then again, for IoT or sensors that will be more popular later on, that will be there will be a lot of sensors to be connected in the network. For the Huawei Campus Optics solution, or we call it passive optical LAN. So actually it came from the technology of GPON, or gigabit passive optical network. As you can see here, based on the diagram, adapting to the optic solution or passive optical LAN. So we have a basic components, including the OLT or optical line terminal, ODN or the optical distribution network, and as well as the ONU. So for the traditional network, usually you have the core, aggregation layer, as well as access layer. But on this solution, you can encounter this, we call it passive optical LAN, which includes ODN and then OLT. So one of the main advantage of having this solution is, first is the simple architecture, wherein fiber in a copper out, zero need for power supplies or equipment room. So basically, using this passive optical solution from your OLT all the way to your ONU, especially on your ODN, there will be no power requirement. So this one is passive devices. So easy evolution. So as you can see, since you are using a fiber optic, and then if you have upgrade later on in the next few years, or maybe after 10 years. No need for you to replace those fiber optic. So you just need to replace those active components. So you will be having a lot of savings in terms of your cabling part. And then intelligent operation maintenance. So passive network, zero need to of or operation maintenance, or we call it ZTP, or zero touch provisioning, wherein all of your access devices, including your ONU, can be deployed as it is. So basically, no need to configure it as one by one. So you can manage it using your NMS. So based on the traditional setup, as you can see here on the left side, so this is the traditional setup wherein you have the core layer aggregation or access layer. So this is what we call the IP network. So this is the usual thing that we have seen in the network infrastructure of our customer. And then on the passive optical LAN solution, so basically we'll be including passive devices, including the splitter. So actually, one of the advantage, or the three advantage of this solution is it flattens the network. So flatten two layers architecture that we can centralize management on NMS. And then also passive network needs no power supplies or weak current through equipments, that we can reduce some risk for electrical shocks, and then reducing potential fire risk. So basically, since it's a passive devices, so no need for you to have some power to power up this equipment, or especially on the ODN part. And then the third advantage is fiber in and copper out. So basically, as we all know that using the copper, especially the UTP cable, so it is only limited to 100 meter of distance. Using this technology or passive optical LAN, so you can extend even up to 40-kilometer full fiber coverage without any amplification. So this is passive. So later on, I'll show you some of the advantage of this solution. So for a hotel, for a typical hotel model, so as you can see here, we can reduce the total cost of ownership by 30% based on the traditional solution on the left side. And then these are different services. We have the cable TV core network, or the IP network, and as well as PABX. And then most likely for the hotel, they are still using the analog phones, wherein that they need to run different types of cable all the way from their main distribution frame or data center to the guest room. As you can see here, different types of cables, or horizontal, vertical line cables, they needs a lot of peripherals to include in their solutions. We're using the campus optic solution. So basically, from these three main services, cable TV, core IP network, and even analog phones, they just need to have one type of fiber optic connecting from MDF all the way to the guest room. And as you can see here from the comparison, on the horizontal lines, based on the traditional solution, they need to use at least 2,100 horizontal cables. Wherein for this campus optic solution or pole solution, they just need only 1/7 of horizontal lines. Similar thing with the vertical cables. So basically, you can easily reduce the total cost of ownership when it comes to cabling and some other peripherals. And then if you really want to have some protection, so we can also deploy the OLT, specifically for an hotel environment wherein you need more reliable connection. So the main components on the GPON or the pole network solution is the OLT. So we can deploy a redundant OLT. So even though this is a passive network, so we can still provision a dual OLT, or the main multiplexers of this solution. And then if you are also concerned of some security, like access security authentication and then permission control, this kind of solution is also running on best practice access security authentication and permission control. which we are using the 802.1x authentication point, MAC address binding for the ONU, EAP, over CAPWAP, and some other authentication point. So basically, you don't have to worry about the security for using this kind of solution. And then for the campus optic, we can also fast provision those devices. So from the traditional setup, as you can see here on the left side, so we can convert it to the PON solution, wherein we will including the OLT plus the ONU. So based on this setup, your network will be simplified. So basically, in terms of provisioning those ONU, instead of configuring those, you need to configure or commission those different network devices from your cores, aggregation network switches, and access switches. You just need to configure one devices, which is the OLT. So basically, it simplifies your network deployment. So fast engineering deployment that we can lower it to 60% fewer horizontal deployment cables, and then fast device installation using the plug and play, or we call it zero touch provisioning. Using we just need to configure it, basically the OLT, instead of provisioning all of the network devices compared to the traditional one. So ONU is also applicable for various installation scenarios. So basically, we can install it on office desk. So compared to the traditional switches, wherein you need to have the racks and with cooling system, power. So basically, this one, since this just is small devices, so we can just install it underneath the office desk. We can also install it in the ceiling mounted network box, wall embedded network box, and then wall embedded ONU, and then even we can install the ONU on the wall close to your electrical socket or switch, electrical switch. And then using the POL solution or GPON solution, we can also reduce the IP equipment rooms and cabling space. So as you can see here, based on the feature, we can lower it to 80%, because since we are using fiber optic, so one strand of fiber optic is enough to handle large bandwidth. So for the footprint, as you can see here, we can reduce it to 90%. Instead of having 4 data cabinets, we can only just use 0.5 of it, 1.5 of a rack space. So this is the ONU. So basically, if you compare it with the traditional equipment, so you need a big room and then to facilitate all the network racks. Using the ONU, since this one is the small devices, so you can just mount it anywhere. Optical fiber versus network cable. So basically, it's very space savings. Since we don't need to provision air conditioner, power utilities, so we can reduce the power consumption even up to 60% using the solution. And the number of days as well, or manpower, so we can reduce it to 50%. So those are the different savings that you can have using this POL or GPON solution. So for an optics, campus optics for office, so this is a typical setup for a campus office or for an office environment, wherein you have the OLT, maybe you just need only one OLT. This is the main multiplexer, and you have the, let's say, different splitters or different types of splitters. So this part is the passive or passive optical network or ODN. And then in each, let's say in each department, you can just need to deploy ONU. And then, and if you have ONU, if you have devices that requires PoE, so we have also ONU with PoE. Included, you can support Wi-Fi, video surveillance, IP phone, desktop, cloud PC, like for BDI, for example, campus IoT. So as I mentioned, using this solution, we can cover a longer distance especially if you have a campus scenario wherein if even horizontal or vertical scenario. So what I mean by horizontal scenario, if you have multi-building scenario or deployment, so we can and then those buildings are farther, so we can deploy a longer distance. Okay, so from 20 to 40 kilometers transmission over a fiber. So power failure protection, integrated UPS solution. So based on our ONU product, so we have also an integrated UPS solution. Easy installation, integrated installation of information boxes. So basically, those are the different advantages using this pole solution. So this is the the sample setup comparing with the traditional IP network, wherein you need to have multiple racks to facilitate all the IT components, including the some switches or switches. This is the, let's say, this is the distribution frame, or the MDF, or the main data center, wherein if you will utilize or use the campus optics solution or the pulse solution, you just need a fewer number of cabinets. It actually occupied almost 1/7 of that of in a switch-based solution. So basically, you just need to have a small room to facilitate to accommodate those network devices on pole. So from this picture, you can see here on the left side, this is the traditional setup of our IP network, wherein you're using the Cat6 or Cat5e cables, wherein using the fiber optic, it will have you less space. And then for desktop installation, you can just mount it underneath the table. For example, in this area, you have 4 user, so you can just use 4 ports of ONU. And then, by the way, if you have ONU have different types of models, from 4 ports, 8 ports, even up to 24 or 48 ports to accommodate more number of users. And this, as you can see here, by the way, I didn't mention that on the ONU, it just need only 1 strand of fiber to serve as your uplink for your ONU. So isang ano lang po, 1 strand of fiber optic. So it will give you less number of cabling. For the campus optics for schools, so basically, especially if you have a big campus or if you have multiple buildings in a campus, so it is also more advantage to use the wall or GPON solution for this requirement. As you can see here, we are not replacing the core switch, because most likely core switch is the core switch is being used to connect different services like the AAA communication and other services in your network. But on your ODN or optical distribution network, we can facilitate, or you can use the OLT, that's ONU, to cover all of the location for your campus network, including for some dormitories and residential areas, administrative offices, teachings. So basically, from Wi-Fi, PCs, and conference terminal or video conferencing terminal, IP phone, and then some different areas as well, even video surveillance. So these are the comparison between the traditional campus network solution for school, wherein I think this is very common for as an enterprise customer, especially for campus, especially for school, wherein there will be a lot of cables, especially on Cat6 cable or Cat6e, na parang spaghetti. Using the pole solution, we can easily put those fiber optic cables underneath, or maybe on the cable ladder. So in campus optic solution, optical fiber are used, which we can be arranged in underground and then maybe on the cable tray. And then again, based on the IDF setup for the traditional network, wherein you need to have maybe hanging cabinet or 42U cabinets, and then you have a lot of cables, or cable, fiber cable, or maybe Cat6 cable or copper cable. For the optic solution, so basically we can centralize the optic splitting, wall mount installation, only 1 week room. So basically not required for rack power supply and cooling. So this one is passive. So it can give you, give you lots of savings, especially in space, and then some different types of rifles using that you are using for the installation of these devices. In a classroom scenario, so we can just put this ONU on top of the corridor and maybe on top of the door. So basically, it can give you a lot of space, or you can save a lot of space. So aside from the school or campus solution, for campus optic solution, so basically this one is more also applicable for a hotel scenario. So currently, most of the hotel, especially for new hotels, or they are planning to rehabilitate their network infrastructure, normally they are choosing GPON or POL solution for their network infra. So as you can see here, we have a dual OLT here, and then running on 2 separate cables. You have the splitters, and then in one guest room, for example, that can serve in one guest room, you have different services. So and you can serve different types of services, from video, voice, and IPTV, and even analog phone. So in one room, we just need only one strand of fiber optic all the way to your splitter. So basically, these are different scenario wherein if you're using the traditional setup, you have a multiple terminal blocks, especially for analog phones. So instead of having that, so just need to have a very simple setup box here, wherein you have a splitter and then your ONU. And then in each room or in each guest room, you can just mount maybe on the electrical electrical box, the ONU, and then can accommodate all different services, including IPTV, analog phone, and other services on the, and even Wi-Fi on the hotel guest room. So aside from the campus school solution hotel scenario, so we can also use the POL solution for video backhaul. So basically, most of the LGUs right now is deploying their own CCTVs or IP cameras. So instead of connecting it using the wireless infra, which is not very stable, so another option is to use the IP network. So normally, if you're using the IP network, so basically you need to have a lot of fiber resources, as well as your IDF or your distribution network. You need to have power. You need to have a power in that area. So basically, using the POL, so you will be needing only small cabinets to facilitate this ODN or the splitters. So high reliability, we can also provide PoE++, and then a flexible. You can also accommodate flexible deployment for indoor and outdoors ONE. So these are the typical sample of our deployment. So basically, it is more simple, and then it can accommodate more cameras in one ODN or optical distribution network. In terms of our product line, so basically we have OLT models, but for enterprise scenario, so basically we're just using this 2 model, because this X7, X15, and X17 is big enough to accommodate big areas, including let's say 20,000 users and even up to 100,000 users. So we can just focus on this 2 model. So these are the different types of ONTs. Basically, it comes with different number of ports that can support RF cable, or we call it cable TV, analog phone, FE ports, GE ports, and even Wi-Fi. So we have different types of ONT models can accommodate different types of requirement. And then as well as we have also a PoE ONU for if it requires to connect different PoE devices such as IP phones, Wi-Fi, and other PoE devices. So these are the different models that we have that can cater different types of scenario. So we have also non-PoE to connect your terminal devices, including computers and laptops and printers and others. So non-POE. And as well, we have also POE, non-POE ONUs that has more ports to accommodate more numbers of users. And then we have also POE plus. And then for an outdoor scenario, so basically we have also this kind of, we call it industrial ONU that can replace outdoor as long as you will house it in an outdoor cabinet. And then for an outdoor video backhaul scenario, so we can use this model as well. And some application, as you can see here, just to mention this opportunity. So just to mention this graph that based on the global poll market in 2020, there will be a lot of requirement of opportunities on the poll solution or campus optics solution. So for partners, so you can take a look on this solution. So especially for new campus, network, hotel, and then some of the city surveillance project. So there will be a lot of solution. There will be a lot of requirement that we can use these solutions. And again, for Huawei access network solution, especially for PON or passive optical network solution. So I can just share you that way back 2018. So we are #1 in the market in terms of the market share. And then 2017, Q3 2018, we are also #1. And then for the next generation PON, which is the 10G PON, so the next level of GPON, next generation PON, we also capture #1 in the market. So our market share is 65% and then 55% from 2017 to 2018. And then we're also #1 in ONT market share, which we capture almost 37%. So for partners, if you're planning to partner with us, so I think since we have a lot of experience in deployment in the market, so that's why we're #1 in the market for this kind of solution. So we can guarantee that we can help you for any kind of scenario. So in terms of our industry cases, so we already, for Huawei Campus Optics Network Solution, we has been successfully applied to education, campus, safe city, hotel scenario serving customers in more than 40 countries, including Philippines. And then for Philippines deployment, so basically most of the telcos right now is also using our solution or GPON solution. So basically that's it. So if you have questions, let me know. And then again, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Renel, for your time. Partners, feel free to send us your question. Our product manager is on the line as well. The product is handled by Ina. She is our product manager for Huawei networking. Again, please use the chat window or Q&A window. Moving on, our next speaker is Christian Glenn Hattel, also known as Ian, who will share with us the benefits of using Huawei ID Hub collaboration solution, one of the products we launched last year. He is the solutions manager under Huawei Philippines Cloud and AI Business Group Huawei Philippines. He is currently handling the server, storage, CCTV, and video conferencing products and solutions. And he is the first Filipino to receive ICT expert certification from Huawei for cloud computing. He is a licensed electronics engineer and a graduate from the De La Salle University. Thank you, Ian. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Sir Mao, for that introduction. Good afternoon to everyone. Once again, my name is Ian Hattel, and I am a solutions manager from Huawei Cloud and AI Business Department. Here at Huawei, we can actually offer different kinds of products and solutions for ICT industry. So you previously, Sir Renel Loreja has shown you the optic solution coming from Huawei. We also offer different solutions ranging from x86 computing, mission critical storage, and other networking devices. So today, I actually want to highlight one of our star products in Huawei, which is the Idea Hub series. Okay, so Idea Hub is actually one of our most important products in Huawei, and it will actually greatly help you to help the customers in their digital transformation journey. Okay, so my presentation is actually composed of 3 slides or 3 components. So first, I want to introduce, or I want to give you an idea of what Idea Hub actually is. And then I will give you the highlights of Idea Hub. And then lastly, some solution scenarios that can help you strategize your interaction with your clients or your customers. Okay, so here in this slide, so you can see a comparison between the traditional conference room and what we call as the digital conference room. So using Idea Hub, you actually want to make your conferencing experience much more easy. So in the traditional conferencing setup, so you can see here that all of the components are presented here, different components for different kinds of functions. So you can see here conference terminals, projector, projection screen, whiteboards, conference tablets, and even microphones and speakers are all separated from each other. So in this kind of setup, so maintenance and operation is very hard, it's very tedious, and it's also, of course, very hard to manage as well. So we want to consolidate everything. We want to streamline your video conferencing experience so that it will be much more easier and much more applicable for the digital environment of your clients. So you can see here the comparison between the traditional conference room and on the right side, a digital conference room using a single Idea Hub. So we have condensed basically all of those components that you can see here, 6 components or even more, and it will provide you these functionalities such as interactive whiteboard, wireless projection, video conference, and office applications. So it's basically an all-in-one collaborative product. So Huawei Idea Hub is a productivity tool for smart office. You can see here what it looks like at a glance. So later I will show you side by side what actually the different models that we can offer in the Idea Hub series. So Idea Hub basically can provide you different kinds of features and functionalities, from whiteboard, providing you high quality display, providing you office applications from our wide array of cloud apps, conferencing. Of course, we can support 4K camera, and we have a very good AI technology to support it. And we can support a flexible screencasting option. Okay, Idea Hub can support different kinds of office scenarios. You can see here some typical applications that you can propose to our clients. First is, of course, that the conference room that I've shown you, we want to digitize it from, or we want to convert it from the traditional setup to this kind of digital conference room wherein we just have a single Idea Hub panel in front of us, and you just need to bring your own device basically to share your content. You can have your meeting, you can have your presentation remotely or locally by just bringing your own devices. You can also have it installed on a discussion area or an open office. It's very mobile. You can have the option for the wall-mounted model or for the rolling stand model. You can also have it installed for the executive offices or for open workspaces. To give you an idea of what we can offer in Huawei for Idea Hub, so these are the 2 main models that we currently offer in the Philippines. The first one is Idea Hub S, which is basically the entry-level model. So I'm sure you're familiar with some of our consumer products like the tablets and the smartphones. So similarly, we can also offer different kinds of flavors or devices for the Idea Hub. So the entry-level model is the Idea Hub S. So it can offer 1080p camera, 1080p data sharing, and auto framing. And it has 2 sizes, the 65-inch and the 86-inch model. Whereas the Idea Hub Pro is the much more high-end model. It now increased the resolution to 4K, 4K camera, 4K data sharing. It still supports auto framing, but it now has the AI feature of speaker tracking. So I will delve into more detail what speaker tracking does, or how it's actually how speaker tracking is actually very advanced in our Idea Hub series. And similarly, we also have the 2 sizes, the 65 inches and the 86 inches. So currently, we only have this kind of color, the jade white color. So we also have the 2 sizes, the 65 inches and the 86 inches. Okay, So moving on to the highlights. So I actually want to divide the core functionalities and features of IDEA Hub into three. First one is its superb interactive whiteboard. I want to focus first on the quality of the projection, the multiple ways of sharing methods, and others. So first one is in terms of content sharing. So we actually have three core capabilities to make the content sharing much more easy and much smoother. So IDEA Hub panels actually support 60 FPS, so meaning it's very smooth. It doesn't strain our eyes when we share our content, when we even share our videos. It's still very smooth. It's actually thanks to our dedicated graphics processing chip, so that we can ensure the smoother projection. The IDEA Hub Pro, which has the 4K panel, uh, can also support the H.265 video codec. So H.265, some of you know, is the latest protocol that we are going to use moving forward for video encoding. So right now, the industry standard is still the H.264, but the demand for even more efficient coding or codec capabilities is increasing because of the 4K technologies. So IDEA Hub can natively support the H.265 protocol. That's why we can ensure that we can provide a high coding efficiency and 50% lower bandwidth in the network of our customers. And we also support a very low cursor latency. I will also show you a demo later of how it affects our performance actually. Okay, so we support flexible ways to share the content wirelessly to the IDEA Hub. So some of the ways that we can do it is first using the IDEA Share app. So IDEA Share app is an application that you can install on your end devices, particularly your desktops, laptops. It can support Windows or Mac OS. So you just need to install it basically and type in maybe the code that is flashing in front of the IDEA Hub screen, and you can seamlessly integrate with the IDEA Hub meeting or the IDEA Hub presentation. So it's very seamless. You can do it on the fly, and we can also support up to 20 wireless projection sources connected at the same time. The next way is using the IDEA Share projector. So IDEA Share projector is a USB peripheral device. So it's an optional device that you can actually purchase optionally with the IDEA Hub. So it looks like this one. So let me just this one. So this is the IDEA Share projector. So it's sort of a USB peripheral device that or USB dongle that you can plug into the USB port of your laptops or your desktops. And with just a click of the button, the large circle button at the middle, basically everything on your screen will be casted to the IDEA Hub screen. So it's very seamless as well. So this is the next way. And the third way is the NFC. So actually at the bottom right-hand side of the IDEA Hub is an NFC reader. You can just use the NFC from your smartphone or from your tablets. Just tap that NFC reader, and basically everything from your smartphone screen will be shared wirelessly to the ID Hub screen. So it's very seamless, and we support different ways to share your content wirelessly so that the meeting experience will be much more flexible, much more efficient. So in terms of writing latency, so we actually have the lowest writing latency right now in the industry for intelligent or digital whiteboards. So you can see here a comparison of our latency, the IDEA Hub Pro's latency compared to a leader in the IDEA Hub market. So we actually have a 35 millisecond latency, whereas other competitors can have up to 50 milliseconds latency. So what this 5 to 15 millisecond latency difference actually gives us is a very significant difference in the user experience. So you can see here the short demo video that I've played. Both presenters started writing at the same point, at the same time, and they both ended up writing at the same point as well at the same time. But you can see here that the pen of the user of IDEA Hub is already here, but the writing trail is still very near the pen, whereas the competitor or some other competitors panel is still on the same line, but the writing trail is still very far away. It's actually because of the large latency that is incurred in the digital display. So how did we achieve this very low writing latency? So it's actually because of the dedicated chips that we have. We have a dual chip for 4 core at 1.5 gigahertz and another 4 core clocked in at 1.8 gigahertz dedicated for graphics. And we also have a support for the video conference codec, the H.265, and an AI algorithm processing chip. So these dedicated chips on top of the AI algorithm makes us contributes to this very low writing latency of the Idea Hub panel. So we also support this intelligent handwriting recognition, ranging from text recognition, graphic recognition, and flowchart drawing. So you can see here the user is just writing on the fly what he wants, or so actually in the first demo or on the left hand side is the user is writing in Mandarin, but of course we support also English text or alphanumeric text. So it will automatically translate to a machine-based font, maybe to whatever font that you want, or even for graphics, you want to draw some shapes, you want to draw a house, you want to draw some other shapes or some drawings. So it will automatically convert that, and as well as flowcharts. So in this way, the meeting experience will be much more efficient and much more engaging as well. So this is one of our key features as well, the intelligent handwriting recognition. So next one is the professional video conferencing. So Idea Hub actually has a very delicate design and professional hardware when it comes to camera and microphones. So for the camera, so we can support the 4K camera, professional camera for the Idea Hub Pro. You can see here that comparing the camera of Idea Hub with the consumer level camera, we can support 4K at 30 FPS video, whereas the consumer grade camera or some other competitors can still support 4K maybe, but the frames per second is actually much very low, so it can also only support 10 FPS video. So with this 30 FPS support, we can have a clear representation. We can also support low noise of new generation imaging technology, and we have a very stable hardware. We can continue running our operations for up to 30,000 hours continuously without the hardware breaking. So this is our assurance. And when it comes to microphone, so we can support 12 linear microphone arrays. Comparing that with the industry or with the competitors, they only support 6 microphone arrays. So what this basically means that when we have the support of the 12 linear microphone array, we basically can cover everything in front of us. So from 0 degrees up to 180 degrees, up to 8-meter radius away from the microphone, we can pick up those sounds. It's very precise as well at 0.5 degrees precise sound positioning, and we can support up to 20 kilohertz full band audio pickup. Comparing that with the industry, they only support 8 kilohertz. So that's a very small frequency or audio band comparing with the Idea Hub. Okay, so we also have, or like I've said, I've reiterated this a few times already. We have Ultra HD 4K support for content presentation, very low bandwidth and high reliability. We support the H.265 codec technology for 4K videos, so that we can have not only a very smooth and very high quality presentation and video, but as well as a very smooth experience because we have a very efficient codec technology. So for 1080p videos, so we also support the industry's lowest bandwidth to have an HD experience, which is at 384 kilobits per second. And we also support, or we also have the SEC or super error concealment technology to have a 30% packet loss concealment for video sharing. Okay, so one of our key features as well for Idea Hub is the acoustic baffle. So acoustic baffle can block noises using the Idea Hub's native AI technology. So what acoustic baffle does basically is that using the AI technology of Idea Hub, we first capture where is the actual meeting area in front of the ID Hub panel. So in this simulated diagram, as you see in the slide, ID Hub is in front of the room, and there's a few people gathering around the table. But of course, around them are some objects or some foreign objects that can contribute noise to the actual meeting. So the water bottle or the water dispenser, the outside, or some people that are outside, windows. So these foreign objects can contribute noise to the actual meeting. So Idea Hub will first identify where is the actual meeting location, and it will isolate all of the noises or all of the sounds outside this actual meeting location. So to give you an idea of what it actually does, what acoustic baffle actually is, so please take a look at this short demo. So there's a sound here that will be playing, so please listen carefully. Okay, so I hope you have heard the girl that was speaking on the demo. So it was not actually the network that has an issue. The girl was just talking and talking as she's continuing to go outside the frame. And once she stepped outside the frame, so actually not still out, she's still inside the frame, but she's outside the white walls. So the audio that is coming out of her, or her voice basically, was automatically stopped or attenuated. So this is because of the acoustic baffle technology. So because of the acoustic baffle technology, Idea Hub identified that everything that is beside or inside these white walls is the meeting location, and everything outside of that can be isolated. All the sounds coming out of those walls are isolated. So it's very efficient, and it's actually thanks to the AI technology of Idea Hub. So one of also our features is the auto framing. So this is present across all of our models from Idea Hub S to Idea Hub Pro. So I think this is self-explanatory. Basically, auto framing will auto frame or readjust the frame depending on how many participants are present in the meeting. It will readjust again when someone joins in, or when someone moves out of frame. So it will readjust this in just a few seconds. So you can disable this or enable this depending on what you want to do or what you want to be enabled on your meeting experience. And the next one is the intelligent speaker tracking. So this is one of the great features of Idea Hub Pro. I'll just let this demo video play first, and then I'll discuss what happened in the video. Okay, so that's the intelligent speaker tracking feature of Idea Hub Pro. So as you saw in the video, if you have listened closely as well, Idea Hub Pro readjusts the frame or automatically tracks the speaker, whomever is the speaker currently. But the intelligent part is actually not just that. So the intelligent part of the speaker tracking feature of Idea Hub is that it actually identifies whether a conversation is happening between two or more people. So as you saw on the video, if you have listened closely, so the two speakers actually talking in turns, so one after the other. So speaker one, speaker two, and then speaker one followed by speaker two again. So this because of this, there's actually a conversation happening between the two of them. It's not just a single monologue or dialogue. So once Idea Hub identifies that a conversation is happening between two or more persons, it will not just zoom in to whomever is speaking. So it will not just zoom into speaker one, zoom into speaker two, zoom in again to speaker one, then go back to speaker two, because that is very dizzying. It's very, it will not be very pleasing to our eyes when Idea will just zoom in and zoom into whomever is speaking. So once Idea Hub identifies that there is a conversation happening, it will readjust the frame so that both participants in the conversation will still be present in front of the display. So that's the intelligent part of Idea Hub. It's actually very neat to have. So it's actually tested already across some of our clients. So they are very pleased with our technology. So lastly is the extensive cloud ecosystem or cloud support of the Idea Hub. So we have this device cloud synergy, as we call it, and we support extensive app support from the different kinds of sources. So natively, Idea Hub is running an Android-based OS, but we can also expand that with an Windows-based OS using the OPS module. But natively, using the Android-based OS of Idea Hub, we can already ensure that we have support for different kinds of Android apps. So upon purchase of Idea Hub, popular applications are already pre-installed, such as WPS, YouTube, LinkedIn even, or Skype. So these are already pre-installed because we have the native support for the Android apps. So if that's not enough, we also have the app gallery, Huawei app gallery. So if you are a user of Huawei phones, maybe this term is familiar to you. So app gallery can offer you different kinds of applications that you want. So basically everything that you can find in front of the app gallery, maybe on your Huawei phone, can be installed as well on the Idea Hub. So basically, you just have a very large Huawei tablet using the Idea Hub. And of course, as well, web app distribution. So if you know a site of maybe you're an Android enthusiast, you know some sites that you can download some APK files or some other Android apps. So you can just go to those sites, download the app that you want, and we can just run the APK file natively, and it will install on the Idea Hub without any problem. So I've said earlier that we can also support Windows OS. So that's actually thanks to the OPS platform or OPS extension that we call. So using the native Android OS of Idea Hub, so we can already support different kinds of applications in the Android library. But if you want an even more extensive support, maybe some other software or applications can run better on a Windows-based desktop. So maybe for the video conferencing software such as Zoom that we're using right now, Teams or Cisco WebEx, maybe they can run better on a Windows-based desktop. So you can have the option to have the Windows OPS extension, which is basically a modular mini PC basically that you can install at the back of the Idea Hub, and we can preferentially boot or dual boot from the Windows OS using this Windows OPS module. So we essentially are expanding even more our support for different kinds of apps using this OPS module. And we also have the support for open development. We have an open SDK that can allow third party to use the hardware and audiovisual capability of the Idea Hub to integrate with their existing systems. So like I've said, the OPS module can help us to run Windows-based software, particularly the meeting software that we're using right now, maybe Zoom or Teams or some other video meeting. So this can run better on a Windows desktop. So I think we already know that. So to run on to switch over to the Windows OS, if you have the OPS module, so what you need to do is to just click this button or touch that button on the Idea Hub homepage, and you will just basically switch over to the Windows OS without any kind of downtime, or it's just basically a few seconds, maybe less than 1 second even, to switch over to the Windows OS. So second one is just open the meeting app from the Windows OS. May open the app if you're choosing Zoom or Teams, and you can join the meeting and use the Idea Hub features together. So this is actually enhancing even more the meeting experience using the Idea Hub native features. So let's say we are using the Zoom platform right now, and you are using an Idea Hub to conduct the Zoom meeting. So the features that I've said earlier, such as the auto framing, intelligent voice speaker tracking, and acoustic buffer, all of those can be supported with the Zoom meeting. So we are essentially enhancing the Zoom meeting experience or the Teams meeting experience using the hardware capabilities of the Idea Hub. So you can see here the comparison or of whom of which will be providing that kind of support. So maybe let's say for the whiteboard software, it will be provided by the meeting software provider. Auto framing and voice tracking and acoustic buffer will be provided by the Idea Hub. Okay, so the last part of my presentation is about some three solution scenarios for Idea Hub, which may help you in engaging with the customers later on. So as I've said earlier in my introduction, so Huawei is an ICT company that can offer end-to-end solutions. So Sir Renel has introduced us the optic solution of Huawei. Maybe some of you are already familiar with Huawei's servers, storage, networking devices, and other offerings. So IdeaHub is actually a part of a bigger domain. So we can offer different kinds of video conferencing solutions, not just the IdeaHub. So one of them, maybe the biggest solution scenario that we can offer IdeaHub with is this kind of whole package solution that we call. So we can offer the whole Huawei video conferencing end-to-end solution with the video conferencing platform from Huawei, IdeaHub, some other collaborative telepresence from Huawei like the CloudLink series, and some other endpoint devices from IdeaHub like the Cloud MCU or TE series of end terminals. So with this, we can provide an ultimate experience for the customer, and it's actually very applicable for, let's say, big clients with maybe they want to have an initial setup of a video conferencing system for their office or for their offices. So this one is a very good strategy for us. Next one, or next sales scenario is integration or integrating with existing cloud meeting providers. So maybe the customer already has been using Zoom meeting, they have a license for it, or maybe they have the Microsoft Teams or Cisco WebEx. So we can integrate with those meeting software without any problem. So we don't need to add additional gateway or PXP gateway. Some other vendors need to add the PXP gateway just to provide the interconnection with the Zoom or with Teams. So with us, there's no need for that. Just basically just need to purchase IdeaHub. Maybe you need also to purchase some peripherals like the OPS module to enhance the experience for the Teams and WebEx meeting. And basically that's it. So you can seamlessly integrate with those kinds of meeting software. And then the third one is actually fairly new. So recently we have launched our own meeting platform that can compete with Zoom, Teams, and Cisco WebEx. That is the Huawei Cloud Meeting. So Huawei Cloud Meeting can or can be supported by Huawei IdeaHub natively, of course. So our product will support our own product. But we can also, on top of that, we can also offer some other solutions. So you can see here the U-Learning. So U-Learning is an LMS platform. So it is an LMS platform, or basically learning management system that can help our customers to have a digital training or school environment. So this is actually very applicable, quite applicable for our educational sectors or some other training, some other companies that require training. Okay. So this one, next one is just to give you an idea of what Huawei Cloud Meeting is. So it's an intelligent cloud collaboration with IdeaHub and other conference terminals. So we can jointly offer IdeaHub with some of our bar series and box series together with Cloud Meeting to provide you the whole meeting or cloud meeting experience. Okay, so that's all for me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again for listening. And if you have any inquiries about IdeaHub and other video conferencing solutions for Huawei, so you can just scan this QR code or contact the product manager for BST ECS. Advance Happy New Year to everyone. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Again, partners, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to our product manager, Chel Gile. I believe she um, has provided all of us with her contact details. At this point, allow me to call on our third AVP and channel manager for provincial volume business, Leah Season, to give us a short introduction on the customer testimonial videos from you partners. These are the entries who made the cut. I believe Hannah has invited all of you to send some videos just to share with us your 2020 stories. And these are the 3 videos who made the cut. Leah, if you could please give us a sneak peek of what to expect from these videos.
Good afternoon, partners. Thank you for joining with us. When we conceptualize this Partner Appreciation Day, we want this to be a learning and business-changing event where new technologies and solutions will be presented so that you, our local partners, will be given new business opportunities and serve the evolving and accelerating needs of the times and of the region, which is now really a forceful push towards digital transformation, remote work, cloud, and the whole gamut. And the topics this afternoon are designed around that. But mainly this event is a Thanksgiving gesture. And so now we want to put a spotlight on you because really this is your event. 2020 left such an imprint on each and every one of us that we thought could make for amazing stories. So we ask you to hashtag share your 2020 story with us and some of you call. These are the 3 of the best videos we've received. Let's watch this.
Hi, my name is Jude and I represent DataLink Technologies Incorporated from the city of Smiles, Bacolod. So I have been in the business for almost 27 years now and I have seen a lot of roller coaster in the way we do business in the IT industry from the early 1990s up to the present. So years prior to COVID-19, the way we do business has been evolving. So it has always been very dynamic. So how did COVID-19 change the way we do business? We were not allowed to evolve. So when COVID-19 hit, it was very instant, it was very drastic, and the only way we have to deal with it is to adapt. Also, aside from delivering the goods, we also have to show and keep a close customer interaction. So we have all these virtual meetings or virtual setups that we do for us to be able to continuously have a close interaction with our customer at the same time keeping a good relationships. So we do business and we evolve from being a direct and personal approach to still a personal but indirect approach. And that is what we call the virtual approach.
Hello VST, this is Clyde from XCOM. It changed the way of how we sell to our customers and to our clients because the traditional way is already outdated and has to be replaced with a new one or be updated with the new way of selling. So we have engaged in multiple platforms already to grow our market and reach out to potential clients and customers.
It also changed the perspective and also the outlook of the company, and to rely on the digital platforms and automated processes to ensure continued operability of our business. And mainly the challenge for this is to ensure that our IT platforms that we implemented can continue to emphasize the human touch that is currently associated with our business, since we deal with our clients in a personal basis. And part of this strategy we implemented is the work from home arrangement with our staff here at the head office and also with the branches. And since some of the work cannot be done remotely, we also introduced the skeletal workforce arrangement with some of the staff here, and particularly the technical staff. And also, we utilize our current existing collaborative technologies such as Google Meets, Workplace, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom for continued service. And lastly, we introduced stricter monitoring policy of our servers and equipment to ensure that the data center is 100% operable and functional.
So focusing still on giving a total customer experience in spite of and despite of the current situation will ensure continuity of the business.
So almost everyone is already on Facebook page, and it is where we promote, sell, and communicate due to the situation right now. And also before, actually, it really did help us grow. It's also the safest way and the easiest way to communicate with our customers, even though they don't have internet or they only have data or free data, they still can manage to talk to us. In our case, VST has helped us in many ways in the pandemic. Even before pandemic, they already helped us a lot. Even with the limited stock, they were still able to provide us. It was a big help, even though it was limited, or even a small amount is already a big help for us. Since not everyone that time had the luxury to have stocks, since it was a worldwide pandemic, we're really grateful for VST that they really did their best to help us through.
Well, VST ECS greatly assisted us in this aspect since they introduced new technologies, platforms, and brands that fit the needs of the organization. And some of these are currently used by our branches right now so that we can continue to have communication with our staff and also for them to continue operating our business. They also implemented the work from home arrangement with their staff. We are still able to communicate with them. They are able to answer our inquiries swiftly and decisively.
Well, we all know BSTECS is one of the biggest distributor of IT products. They carry almost all of the brands, and we all know that. So aside from focusing on the products they carry, I would like to focus on the way they do business. So I have been doing business with VSTECS since its inception, and I would like to commend VSTECS for not only doing business, but as I've said, doing business with a heart.
Thank you, partners, for the kind words. At this point, we will now move on to our last, our speaker from Trend Micro. And we know for a fact that cybersecurity is one of the major concerns as remote working becomes a new norm. Our next speaker is from Trend Micro Philippines, Ms. Jessica Bernardo. She is currently one of the pre-sales consultants of Trend Micro. Her work is focused on helping clients achieve their business goals using the latest technologies in security. She has been in the IT industry for 10 years, providing designs and proof of value to clients, covering local and wide area networks, wireless, and security. And through her years in the industry, she has obtained multiple certifications for various network and security products. She is a licensed electronics and communications engineer and a graduate from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Manila. Jessica, please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So, again, I'll just introduce myself. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jessica Bernardo. I'm a pre-sales consultant from Trend Micro. And this afternoon, my session will be entitled Forging Ahead with Cybersecurity. So, again, just wanted to say good afternoon again and happy New Year, advance Chinese Happy New Year. But before I proceed with my presentation right now, I'd like to just share some things regarding 2020 and as well as 2021. But before I go to there, I would like to just personally congratulate VST ECS for this successful event. And thank you as well for inviting us here. I also would like to thank all of our attendees for still staying with us during this time kasi medyo late na rin naman. So thank you for all of you. Now, to give you a brief background of what I will be sharing this 2021 cybersecurity. I will cover some of our security insights for 2021. What are the things that we are seeing when it comes to the malicious actors that we have, or what might be the things that they will be leveraging so that we will be able to penetrate the customer's organization. Now, aside from that, they will be targeting as well your own organization, the partner's organization. So tonight or this afternoon, I will walk you through with each of the challenges that we have seen, and that we will be able to provide you an understanding of what of all of this is happening. And of course, lastly, I will be sharing with you some glimpse of what Trend Micro is doing, and what we are continuously doing on our portfolio, so that we will be able to share as well for the customers and partners what are the things that Trend Micro is doing to combat all of these problems. Now, to start with, I would like to just go to 2021 first. Before we go to 2021, let's look back on year 2020. Well, for year 2020, I'm not sure for all of you, but for me, it is an overwhelming year. There is what we call the Taal eruption. There is also Kobe Bryant incident. There are also what we call the COVID-19. And I think everyone would agree with me with that this year is a very tough year, if not that a most difficult year for all of us, not only individually, but also on organizations. Now, what we see here in 2020 is that until 2021, that there are still health issues that's hanging around. Andyan pa rin siya. And there are still people that we've missed. There are also unfortunate people that died during this 2020 and did not reach 2021. That's the sad fact. We'd also miss our normal life, as we have missed traveling as well and seeing all other people in person. Actually, with this event, I've missed also going to Cebu and seeing all of you in person. So yeah, and well, aside from that, there are also businesses that has been closed during this pandemic. So we all know all about these things. We all know that we've reached 2021, and hopefully we gone through it with a more strong 2021. Now for 2020, for many it brought so many depressions, frustration, as well as lack of hope. Well, we know that life become uncertain during this period, and we don't know how to move forward. But for some, syempre may ibang positive naman. This pandemic has been given. It led us to reset our mind and as well as focus on what is really important and what we need to focus on. Well, essentially in security industry, madami ding nangyari. We've seen a lack of peak of challenges that leverage every season that we encounter. Well, most especially when it comes to this pandemic, we have seen high rise of threats when it comes to COVID-19. So everybody is looking for COVID-19. Everybody is wanting to know what is COVID-19, what are the things that they need to do so that they will not be contaminated with the virus. What are the vaccines? When will this be available? And if that is available, will it be safe? There are so many things that the people around us, even here in the Philippines or even global, that would like to know everything about that. So the hackers actually leverage that. And because of that, they lure the target to be able to get information from all the things that is happening on the security platform. Now, when it comes to target, always remember that the target is always us, the users. So lastly, in business, we know that on our business side, we cannot just stop and struggle. But even though we struggle, yung mga hackers, this is also their business. So they will not stop as well. So yeah. So moving on to our 2021. Now imagine this is an image wherein it is a representation of 2021. Remember, na-miss na natin pumunta ng mga beach, di ba? But when we look at the ocean on the beach, we often see there are waves in the ocean. It could be small, it could be a big wave like this one. From the surface, when you are walking on the shore, you will see that there are small waves on the surface. And that is what we call in security is a fleeting events. Waves come, waves also go. And as well as in split second, we can see that they appear and as well as disappear. So we know that there are times that when we see a big wave, which is what we call a very big tide. So the tide is what we call a gravitational power behind the waves that we are seeing in the ocean. Now, for this afternoon, let me or allow me to help you to understand these tides, the tomorrow's tides that we will be tackling or we will be facing. What are the critical tides that we are be facing in the future for this year, and how will we be able to ride into these waves of tides? So yeah, so let's start with what are we'll be seeing on 2021. One of the biggest area that we will definitely see is the work from home model. So I think most of the speakers always shared to us about the work from home model. And we've seen this in 2021. Most of us shift to work from home, and work from home will likely to stay in 2021. According to research or according to the study that we have, there is an estimate of around 30 to 40% of the global workforce that will shift to remote work operations, or what we call the work from home model. Actually, us, we are working from home for 11 months now. And this is something that changed the business, actually. So now we can notice that it is a game changer, yung work from home model. And the work from home model is not just changing how we conduct the business when it comes to our customers and partners, but it will radically change as well and expand the organization's attack surface. Because of this work from home, there are so many ways the attackers will be able to penetrate the organization. And that is a challenge for all of us. Now, I would like to share with you that the goal of the threat actor will always be to give a very strong foothold in our corporate network. They will introduce new ways on how they could exploit this remote work operations, or what we call the remote work from home. And one of the biggest and as well as possible entry points that they would likely use is our home networks. So because of our work from home, in home networks, we always share our internet connections or our access with the household. And of course, when we say home networks, this is unsecured connections. This is a platform wherein the attackers will be able to penetrate the system. Now, home networks would likely be what we call the next launchpad of the attackers. Yun talaga yung yun talaga yung way ng mga actors right now, or the threat actors right now, to be able to penetrate the organization. They would look into hijacking the machines in our household, and as well as using it to jump from one machine to another machine so that it can gain access to the corporate network, since we have this work from home setup. Another thing or another entry point that they will use because of this work from home is our virtual private networks. We know VPNs has been one of the businesses that rise during this pandemic. And attackers would likely use it or exploit this setup, or the virtual private networks, or the similar remote work operations that we have. So we know that VPNs have been used for so many years actually in the business. so that it can provide security parameters like device scanning. It also used for data encryption, but this will not be enough for the next 3 to 4 years or 3 to 5 years. Now, what we will see in the future is that there would be a rise of VPN attacks, or the virtual private network attacks, or the likes that we use for remote work operations. Now, the threat actors will be targeting these platforms by using known bugs, or as well as discovering unique and as well as new vulnerabilities on the system. So if the cyber criminals would become very successful in penetrating our devices, the next cybercrime model we will see is what we call the access as a service. Now, this will be the new platform that the hacker will leverage. The access as a service is what we would see is the future thing that will use to offer a diverse portfolio of highly valuable targets, on as well as the credentials that will be available in the black market or in the underground market that we have. Now, therefore, since this pandemic, what we would likely see is that the boundaries between work from home and as well as the home networks would likely break down. If these threats cannot be prevented, now it would eventually be a very hard headache for all of the organizations. This is a huge problem when it comes to every organization or every company. Another thing, or the second one, is more of the challenge in visibility. So we know that organizations will be struggling because of what happened to us in 2020. But of course, they will not stop. They will be determined to stay secure because the virtual dependency will progress or grow. Now, because of this, their digital journey will be not as easy and safe somehow. And because they will encounter some potential security bumps. Sample of which is what we call the clash between the data security and the data privacy. Now, the unfortunate reality is that we need to accept that work and as well as the home data that we have, the personal and the home, the work data will now be residing on a single machine. Now, that is another problem on the organization, aside from the headache on getting the things that we have on the organization, but we also have commingled or as well as residing the same information on the same machine. With this, it will impose as well significant challenges on organization because number one, because of the commingling of data for work from home and personal, is that we will have a less control over the employees' use of data and as well as their devices, because that is their personal device, and that device will be used to access the corporate organization. We will also see that there are problems when it comes to employees that impose a personal privacy. So because they are using their devices to access the internal resources, it will be in question. Will they be still in private? Will all of their access will be not seen on the organization? That will be a question right now because of this visibility that we need. Now, another thing is that our workspace will become more and more elastic as there will be a decrease in enterprise and visibility because they would be lesser visibility in what will happen to the corporate devices that they will place in home or shared network. Visibility, as we all know, is how the corporate devices access the internal resources from the network. We need to have visibility on that. Now, this would be a very big challenge for the most of organization. So, what we are seeing right now for this problem on visibility is that a zero trust model. I think you've heard about zero trust model, and you will be able to use it, or this will be something that will partner you to have an effective way to have an approach on empowering your workforce, as well as they are using a distributed system. So when it comes to when it comes to zero trust model, it will help you to navigate, even though the employees that you have is working from home. Number three, another problem is that organization will venture in digital transformation. Because of what we are seeing, we know that for sure, and therefore, there would be a progressive growth of application, or what we call the APIs, or the application programmable interface adoption. With this digital progression, it would likely fuel possible security risk in the organization, such as there are excessive data usage. They are also seeing that there are data exposures, and as well as misconfigurations on our system. Because of the API, it will be automated. So that's why sometimes there will be a glitch on the system as well. So there will be misconfiguration on our system. Now, aside from that, there will be a rise when it comes to vulnerabilities in this type of program. We know that if there are something that is hacked, if there are something that is new, yun yung tina-target ng mga hackers. Now, and that's another problem because there will be a big rise of APIs coming on 2021. Yeah. So therefore, what we will see is that we need a holistic threat monitoring. This will be a key to a lot of organizations that, as they are challenged to progress as well on the threats that we have. Now, the question is, how will we be able to see as organizations to protect ourselves if we don't see what is happening on the organization? So that's a very big challenge. Visibility is always a big challenge on the organization. What we are always saying, we cannot protect what we cannot see. And then, of course, third and last wave that we will see, and I will be covering for this session, is that there is a cyber criminal space, or what we call the operations. Well, someone asked before whether the cyber criminal operation is something that is radicalizing, as you've seen in my slide, or is it evolving? Well, for me, as a security professional, I believe that cyber criminal operations now is evolving. They are and they will actually invoke tailored fit and highly customized attacks according to their target. That's what we call the targeted attacks. So I think they will level up their sophistications of threat. As we see, there are complex when it comes to attacks of the hackers. And they will be using new techniques like data hiding techniques, or and they will be able to hide themselves so that they can conceal their illegal activities. Now, we know that there are also challenges when it comes to SSL or even secured traffic. This is a very great challenge on the organization. But again, the threat actors will now have will not change their grounds. We know that there are techniques that they will still be used for the coming years. They will use the same techniques when it comes to self-reliance on executables that they are using. They will be improving as well when it comes to what they call avoidance techniques, so that they will not be able to be seen using a secured certificate when they access the network. They have all the techniques that they can do so that they can penetrate the system without them being seen. So that's a problem. The cyber criminal operations will also adopt new infrastructure setups, not only to protect themselves from security vendors like us. We know that we always have this research and development, and we check upon them on the cyber criminal undergrounds. But also they will strive to be able to protect themselves against the law enforcements, because right now there is yung mga law enforcements, hinuhuli na din sila. And aside from that, they will also protect themselves against the fellow cyber criminals that they have. Not only that they protect themselves from us, but also to their fellow criminals. So what we will see in summary is that the underground community will continue to thrive. So as we experience enormous security risks, they will also strive as we adapt and would navigate in whatever way and journey we will be. So susundan nila tayo. They will follow us and they will continue to attack with complete disregard and as well as very strong defiance. Now, this is my last. So I can go on and tell you all of the waves that we are seeing in 2021, all of the things that is the malicious actor has been busy going on for 2021. But with all of this that I have shared with you, the organizations are left with no choice. So what we need to do? So we need to piece together all of the assets that we have so that we will be able to at least have visibility. That's the biggest problem earlier. To at least have the visibility and monitoring that we need for our organization so that we can also protect our organization. Now we in Trend Micro, we are excited for to share with you the new concept that we have. This is already running and as well as available globally. And we believe that this technology will share a lot when it comes to new technologies on security workspace. This technology or this concept is what we call the Vision One. So Trend Micro Vision One yung name. It provides visibility on different network layers, like for example, the endpoint, the server, the cloud workloads, the email, and as well as the network. We use all of this stack of layers so that we can detect, we can correlate, and analyze events from all of the layers so that we can provide event that is meaningful, that is very easy to understand by our security admin so that they can easily navigate what is happening on the organization. Now, just to share with you our technology, which is what we call the Trend Micro Vision One. So again, it is a platform that provides us a purpose-built cross-layer detection and response, as you can see on the bottom of my screen. You can see here that there are endpoint security, there are service security, there are cloud security, email security, and network security. Sharing all of the informations to our Trend Micro Vision One so that it can provide visibility on what is happening on the users. Say, for example, it will provide you visibility on your employees, even though they are working from home. You can see what are the applications that my user has been accessing, what are the devices that they are using to access my organization, or even the cloud applications that they are accessing. Later, I'll share with you some of the screenshots of our Vision One. Now, aside from that, we can see as well the overall risk of the organization or our company with all the things that the employees has been using in our organization. Now, another good thing, as you can see on the right side of my screen, is that there are customers that already ventured or already have their monitoring systems, like let's say SIEM or as well as SOAR. Now, the good thing about our Vision One is that we can integrate with all of these solutions so that we will be able to provide you a deeper context, a meaningful context, so that what are the things that the security admins will be checking up upon will be very important things and very important logs. So with this, we can provide our security admins a platform wherein they can investigate the threat more easier, and then they can also respond faster. Now, I will be sharing with you some of our screen copy or what is Vision One when it comes to our dashboard. So this is the sample of Trend Micro Vision One. You can see here that there are multiple applications on our left side. And as you can see here, there are security posture, there are workbench, there are threat intelligence, or as well as the detection model management or our security analytics model. You can see all of these things in a single platform given to you by Trend Micro, so that you can have a power, so that you will be able to have visibility of what is happening on your employees on the virtual side. Now you can see here that there are sanctioned and as well as unsanctioned applications that we can see using the platform. You can see as well what are the risky cloud applications that your employees has been or the customers as well has been accessing for the last 7 days. So you can also see here if there are risky users, that you can see that the higher the score that they have, the riskier that they be, and maybe they are accessing more and more unsanctioned applications. You can also see here on the left side, you can see if there are risky devices that has been used by our risky users as well. Now you have this visibility that even though they are working from home, you can see what they are accessing. And you can be able to provide distinction and response as well for all of these unsanctioned apps. Now, another thing is you can see in the company overview, what is the risk index of the overall company. The higher it is, so the more riskier we have. So you can see here the number of users, the number of devices being connected on the platform, the number of applications they access, what are the number of unsanctioned and as well as sanctioned applications. You can see here on other tabs, the users, the devices, and as well as the applications being accessed. Now, another thing that you can see on this Trend Microvision one is to provide you correlated events, a detection and correlated and detective events wherein you can be able to navigate what are the devices that has been seen in this kill chain, or what happened to my organization. Does my user access different URLs? Is that a URL malicious or not? Is it also is it my machine also accessed by someone that is not part of my organization? You can see it all using the Vision one. You can also see if there are email addresses that has been logged on the same machine. And you can see as well if there are emails that is being sent on the email with this machine. Now, you can see all of this in our Trend Microvision one. What we are just saying is that when we do correlation, it will take time. But when it comes to response, we need to have a lesser time so that we can respond well on our organization. The challenge is when we do it in silos, when we do it, say for example, when we do it in our endpoint, when we do it in our email or our server, we do it in a different way. And when we would like to investigate, we come and go to different consoles. Now, using the Trend Microvision one, you have the single dashboard. All of the information from your email server, endpoint, and as well as networks will be able to be seen on a single dashboard. So this is the workbench. Now, another thing is you can respond as well on the same platform. As you can see here on the endpoint, you can easily isolate the endpoint. As you can see that this endpoint might be a compromised device. Now I can do isolation on these endpoints. Aside from that, if we have seen that there are email messages that might be a malicious email, for example, and you would like to have a response, like for example, you would like to quarantine the message or as well as delete the message, you can do it as well on our Trend Micro Workbench. Now that's the good thing, and that's the power that we can provide using the Trend Micro Vision one platform. Now I will not bombard you more and more about this this platform and these geeky stuffs that I have, but I would like you to just, if you have questions, I would like to contact our partner, the BST ECS, or as well as our security account managers, so that we will be able to show you more about this Trend Microvision one that we have, or the concept that we have that can help you as well on navigating all of these problems that we have. Now, in conclusion, let me just close this with this slide. All of the predictions that we have, that we've seen on the presentation that I've shared with you, let's forget all of those things, because the way that we protect our organization is not based on how well we are predicting all of the things that the attackers will be able to penetrate the system. We need to have an idea wherein this intelligence or these things that we have seen in our organization, we will be able to integrate all of this information so that we will be able to provide protection and as well as response to our organization. All of these things, when we have integration with all of these things, we can have a collective threat intelligence as well as resilience, and as well as we will have a digital com, as like in this screen that I have. Now, I think that ends my presentation for right now. And thank you again for this afternoon, and God bless.
Thank you, Jessica, for your time. Again, partners, feel free to send us your question. Our product manager, Jason Top, is on the line. So we would be able to address them. And our product expert, our technology expert, Jessica Bernardo, is with us until the end of the session. So please take this opportunity to ask our experts. At this point, let's gear up with Nutanix in the evolving hybrid world, and our subject expert is Mr. Awi Sendiong. He is a Nutanix systems engineer, Nutanix Philippines. He is focused on providing pre-sale consulting and design, technical guidance to customers and Nutanix channel partners. Prior to joining Nutanix, Awi spent 5 years with Dell EMC as an implementation specialist, in 3 years with an IBM systems integrator as a storage specialist. His core competencies are virtualization, hyperconverged infrastructure, SAN and NAS systems. He comes with various certifications for Nutanix, Dell EMC, and IBM. Take it away, Awi.
Thank you, Mao, for that introduction. And
Welcome, my
maayong
pleasure.
hapon sa inyo lahat. All right. First of all, I'd like to specifically thank VST ECS for inviting Nutanix to share this special event with you and your partners. And I'd like to share that Nutanix is also a proud partner of VST ECS. Yan. And I was talking to my colleague earlier, and well, we were sharing. I told her, alam mo, the toughest speaking slot is actually the one before the raffle. I know everybody's excited about the raffle, so let's get on with it. So I don't want to keep you guys. So let's start. Our focus for today, number one, will be why gear up with Nutanix? What's the reason? Let's dig a little deeper into the reason why our customers and ourselves need to gear up. Number two, how can your customers gear up? And finally, number three, how can you gear up? Okay. Now, when we dig a little deeper into the why aspect of gearing up with Nutanix, I actually want to highlight three factors that impact our customers' business priorities. And these are the top three. Okay. Number one is keeping up with resource demands. Now that we're in a technology when resources and items are very fast to be delivered into the market, our customers and also their customers as well would like to experience those services, those items faster. So mas mabilis ngayon yung flow natin and yung drive natin. Number two, because of the pandemic, businesses are now focusing or giving more importance to business continuity. Of course, everybody, as what my colleagues have mentioned earlier during their speaking slots, the pandemic really changed us. And we don't need to get into more detail. Everybody felt that. And so now moving forward, preparing ourselves, preparing the IT industry, specifically in the Philippine context, we want to make sure that in the future, if there's maybe another attack, another pandemic, or another global situation that will highly affect us, our businesses, our customers will be ready to continue delivering their services to their customers. And then last but not the least, they want to drive faster innovation. They want to adopt faster than the normal. Gone are the days that our customers are lagging in the technology aspect. They want to instantly and immediately adapt as far as they can reach and make those services available to their end users. So with these three driving factors of our customers' business priorities, I can actually think of two solutions that can cater and solve and allow our customers to continue their drive towards these priorities. Number one would be the public cloud. I'm sure most of you have an idea of our hyperscaler companies, the public cloud companies that are available in the market. And what they did is they really made it easy for customers to use. Diba? When a customer will subscribe to them, it's very easy to deploy and use the resources. In terms of payment structure and billing models, it's based and they pay for it according to their consumed resources. So kita agad nila with their resources how much they're going to pay for that. Number three, it's very simple for them to manage, consume, monitor, troubleshoot, etc. Yeah. Because of all the ease of use that these hyperscalers put into the system that they are providing their customers, sobrang dali ngayon of how to deliver these services. And last but not the least is that in the background, there's always continuous innovation. There's always upgrades. AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud will always come out with new features day in and day out. So we know that some customers are really happy and they really want to feel what the public clouds are giving them. The second solution that can help customers drive their businesses is actually another form of cloud we call private clouds. So private clouds, this is actually the initial market where Nutanix has been playing for the past decade or so. Now, with private clouds, customers are now assured that their legacy apps will still run compared to the public cloud where they have to refactor or sometimes they have to reprogram their applications. With a private cloud, they are sure that they can set up an operating system, set up a virtual machine, and they are assured that their apps are going to run there. Number two is that the private cloud provides them with predictable costs. As long as they know how much CPU, how much RAM, and how much storage they will use, if they go to a partner like you or a distributor like VST ECS, they are given a quote and they see exactly how much it will cost. Diba? And that can help them prepare long term and they will see that structure there. Now, an on-premise system or a private will also enable them to comply to regulatory measures, whether it be a compliance body or institute, or may it be a law or something from our government, diba? A mandate that will ask them to keep your data this way or archive your data this way. Diba? So they need to comply. And with private cloud, they easily have control over that. When we talk about control and security, of course, when they own the infrastructure, they are now able to have more control how it gets delivered, how it gets configured, how it gets provisioned, and then how to secure overall their environment. So we now have two solutions, basically, the public cloud and the private cloud. And these two solutions, customers are now, juggling which one should they use. Probably a lot of your customers will have a combination of both, a la hybrid, diba? And that creates a new set of problem. But since customers would like to have the best of both worlds, the best of the public cloud and also the best features and solutions of a private cloud, we are now driven to a new normal in the hybrid in the IT industry, and we call it the hybrid cloud. Now, in the hybrid cloud, you see tons of integrations. Diba? Some of you will be very, very familiar with this one. Customers will have their own data center. Some of them will have to be hosted or co-located into a provider. Some of them may have already their own private cloud, may it be Nutanix or maybe a different brand. And some of them may be using another software as a service application, which they run from the web and get and put data in and out from their data center. Now, some of our customers would also have some integration or some connection and accounts with public cloud providers like Azure, Google Cloud, and AWS, to name a few. Now, when we take a look at this new normal hybrid cloud infrastructure, we see a lot of interconnectivity. You see here green lines, you see there blue lines, you see different integration. And so now new problems are arising. Customers and IT organizations, businesses are now thinking, how do I integrate them better? How do I optimize them better? Should I put it on a certain infrastructure? Should my workload be able, should my workload be ready to be transferred from one system or one platform to another easily without having to think of reprogramming or replatforming it. What about latency? How will my end users connect to it? Will the experience be good? Will it bad? Etc. etc. So now we create the new normal, the hybrid cloud is creating new problems, new challenges for our customers. And let me highlight three. Again, three. Number one is there's ops networking complexity. So the more systems they have scattered around, the more it becomes complex for their operations and their networking teams to tie them up all together. Now, let me just go back a little bit into the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, of course, a lot of businesses were affected, and a lot of IT teams nawalan ng budget. If if not for anything, baka nga some of our customers may have reduced their workforce as well. Diba? These are sad times, but because of the complexity and the overwhelming demand from the IT teams and from the IT infrastructure, our customers are now tired. Some of them are really exhausted from all the network and the machines that they are trying to monitor and administer to. Okay, so there's complexity that's ongoing and it keeps getting more and more complex as the days go by. Number two, there's again siloed infrastructure management. The more our customers have all of these solutions that they're using in their specific organization, the more GUIs and user interfaces that they are accessing, right? Their data center will have its own, their private cloud will have its own GUI, their Azure or their Google Cloud platform will have its own user interfaces. So that there's no just one unified pane that's managing everything, kalat-kalat. And what makes this difficult for our customers is that hindi nila na-unify. There's no way for them to standardize everything from one platform to another. And the third reason, or the third problem that's arising from this new hybrid cloud setup is cost overruns. So customers are now struggling. I want to keep my costs down. I want to keep it at this level. I don't want to overspend, etc., etc. So in the bigger aspect of things, there's now a bigger problem that our customers are facing. Now, if I summarize this into another slide, I'll have two items. One is the private cloud, and the other to the right is the public cloud. Now, for our customers to be able to experience the best of both worlds, there needs to be a unified and hybrid cloud platform that they are easily able to consume and use and administer so that they can standardize their operations between private and public cloud. Now, what does our customers need? Ano yung kailangan nila to be able to unify their systems scattered around? So, what they need is actually number one, a single platform, one operating system that can be deployed on-prem and an operating system that can also be deployed in the public cloud such that it can combine the two and allow our customers to move their applications back and forth. Number two, related to moving their applications back and forth, there should be seamless movement and elasticity between clouds, such that if there's a time when a user is ready to move his or her application or virtual machine from the private cloud on premise to the public cloud, he or she will be able to do that with minimal planning, with minimal, what do you call this? With minimal resources to ask permission to, just so they can move to the public cloud. Number three, there has to be some native integration with cloud services. When I move my virtual machines or my applications on premise to the cloud, that application should be able to use the features and solutions that that public cloud provider basically provides them or their organization. Now, vice versa, when a customer wants to put a specific application or virtual machine from the public cloud down back to the private cloud or on-premise data center, they should be able to, again, maximize the features and benefits of that private cloud solution. And that's how we do it with native integration. And last but not the least, the licenses should be portable. In order to make it very easy for customers, the licenses that they use on premise should be the same licenses that they use in the cloud. Because there's no point in making it very simple and easy to use and consume for our customers if there's no portability in terms of the licenses. And so, given that these are the things that our customers need in order for them to give up, to gear up, okay, Nutanix is proud to introduce Nutanix clusters. Okay, so Nutanix clusters will allow our customers to get that same experience from a private cloud into their public cloud account. And what this does is actually it delivers the same Nutanix cloud platform or operating system and runs it on AWS bare metal instances. So that whether which one you look at it, either if you look at the private cloud or the public cloud, they will have the same operating system installed, which is the Nutanix operating system. Now, using that operating system on either cloud will allow their infrastructure to be managed by just one single management pane. And we call it Nutanix Prism. So that's the second item, Prism. Prism will be able to see the operating system that is being run both on the private cloud and also on the public cloud. And this hybrid and multi-cloud architecture will allow customers to easily and more give them more mobility in terms of where they want to clouds and when they want to move to either cloud or to either platform. Okay, so that's Nutanix clusters. Now, we take a look at the Nutanix clusters a little bit deeper, just to give you an idea what it looks like. Okay, so over here I have a diagram which shows you the Nutanix private cloud. Essentially, it's just the Nutanix operating system installed on a cluster of servers. So that creates the Nutanix private cloud. Now, that same operating system, merong copy si AWS. AWS also has a copy of that same operating system of Nutanix, such that when a customer clicks deploy in their AWS account, AWS will automatically deploy the Nutanix operating system into their bare metal servers. And that creates an ala Nutanix cluster on the public cloud. So you now have two clusters running the same Nutanix operating system, one on the private cloud, one on AWS, and then Prism will be able to communicate to both. Of course, given that networking is arranged. And this allows, native integration with cloud networking. Contrary to other solution providers where there's a tedious task of having to configure the networking, the port, etc., Nutanix seamlessly integrates with the existing cloud networking that AWS has. Okay. Number two, there's now migration without performance compromise. If we ask a customer who wants to move his systems from the public cloud back to on-premise private cloud, that customer will automatically say to you that it's very difficult to migrate out of AWS and that AWS will charge you for doing so. Now, with Nutanix Prism, seeing both clusters and enabling customers to move virtual machines and applications back and forth between private and public clouds, customers don't have to worry how they will move those virtual machines back to on-prem. So there's no need for retooling, refactoring, or reprogramming their applications just to move them to a specific cloud. And then number three, your Nutanix software, that license is the same licensing in the public cloud. So the same licensing that Nutanix provides its customers, our customers on the private cloud, is the same licensing, is the same sales SKU that customers will see when they receive a code from our partners, VSD, ECS, and Nutanix. So it's the same. It's basically the same. And that's how we unify and allow our customers to see that licenses are portable. So if they can purchase licenses either way, but in their mind, they're able to use that when they need it and to which cloud they want to put those licenses to. Now, if we look at the benefits of this setup to customers, again, it allows them to have application mobility, the ease of that mobility, transferring between cloud to cloud. That's unified infrastructure management because Prism will be able to manage both clouds. And then later on, it will allow them lower operational costs because with a Nutanix platform, customers can automate, can scale, can use different solutions as a service as well built in. Some of the key use cases and target workloads for Nutanix clusters on AWS are the following. So if customers want to have some sort of lift and shift, just basically moving virtual machines from their on-premise to the public cloud, uh, Nutanix clusters is a good fit for that. If they need on-demand elasticity for specific events, for example, if you have, let's say, just as an example, a retail customer, we know that come Valentine's Day, they will have a spike in terms of orders. Diba? So if they want to have that elasticity that the public cloud provides, they can easily move their applications to the public cloud, make it elastic and scale that out automatically there. And when it's a down season for them, maybe they don't need that elasticity and that scalability that the public cloud provides, they can easily, again, reclaim that VM and bring it back to on-prem. Okay. Some customers would want to have some sort of business continuity. Maybe the customer doesn't want to put up their own second data center. That's all right. They can use Nutanix clusters on AWS as a second or maybe third DR site for their customers. Okay. Fourth would be cloud native services. So if they put a specific application or virtual machine on the public cloud, specifically AWS, they will be able to use the solutions and features of AWS, like file services, auto scaling, the load balancers, etc., etc. They will be able to use those cloud native services. If they bring them back to private cloud, they will be able to maximize on the private cloud capabilities of a Nutanix solution as well. So that's native to the solution. Other use cases, maybe if they want to put VDI on cloud, let's say they are used to using a specific on-premise VDI setup, they can also replicate that, a similar setup of that VDI solution in their public cloud, and then let Nutanix handle the distribution. They can also use that for IO intensive apps, attaching EBS volumes to their AWS bare metal instances. They can also do that, and tons more. But these are just the common use cases that we see on the field. Some of you, I'm sure, will have questions, and some of you may want to know more. So don't worry. If your customers or you yourself would like to experience this, we have two ways on how you can do it. Number one is to take a test drive. So just go or to Nutanix test drive. If you don't know the link, you can just simply Google Nutanix test drive, and it will redirect you to Nutanix's page where you can select. Over there, just select the hybrid cloud functionality of Nutanix, and it will give you and your customers a step-by-step guide on how to provision a Nutanix cluster on the on the public cloud, and how it works and what the experience looks like. That online guided demo will be available to you or to your customers for 4 to 8 hours. Okay, so it gives you time to play around with it a bit. Now, if your customers would like to try it using their own, let's say, test data or have a longer time, Nutanix offers a free trial. It's a 30-day free trial. Uh, the only caveat of that is that the customer will have to provide their own AWS account. But the Nutanix software will be issued by Nutanix for 30 days for free. Okay, so they only have to use their account for the infrastructure side only. And then with that setup, your customers can try all the Nutanix products available. Okay, so that's how your customers or yourself can try this feature out. Now we go to our last portion of this sharing presentation. Now, how can you gear up as well Of course, our customers will benefit from this. Now, how will you benefit from this as well? Okay. So I only have 4 words on how you can gear up, and it's become a Nutanix partner. Okay, so become a Nutanix partner. VST and myself and the rest of the Nutanix team is here to help you on board. Now, for those who are already Nutanix partners in this session this afternoon, you are free to reach out to us if ever you want to have additional sales or technical enablement, and we welcome that. VST and the Nutanix Philippines team would like to have that conversation and that session with you. Now, as a Nutanix partner, will have access to the Elevate Partner Program. Now, what is this program? Now, this program is a newly launched program that makes it simple to use for a customer. It's trusted. There are more provisions in it. It transforms the way we look at partnerships in terms of the hybrid cloud era. And most importantly, it allows you, our partners, to be more profitable. Okay. So how does this look like? Okay. So the Elevate program is actually a competency-based program. And the program is designed to reward partners who develop deep skill set in selling, delivering, and developing services around the Nutanix portfolio of products. Now, there are 3 levels. As a start, an organization can become an authorized partner. Now, as you build your skill set, as you move forward into this hybrid world, you are now elevated into a cloud professional, and then later on, the highest status is actually a cloud champion. Now, each stage has its own benefits. Of course, the higher you go up, when you become a cloud champion, uh, more benefits can be experienced. And I'd like to share with you some of the benefits. So you have there a mix of incentives, a mix of rebates, a mix of access to certain funds. There's the partner locator where our website will advertise your company. You'll also have access to demo licenses, high number of demo licenses that you can use for your training and your customers as well. And you have access to what we call the X-Tribe community, where you can just click and write a comment or something, and then you gain points. And then those points you can use to get, vouchers. You can get gift cards. You can get maybe Apple rewards and other retail shops as well. You can get those rewards from that partner community. So, which brings me to this slide, how to become a Nutanix partner. Now, there's 2 steps on how to become a Nutanix partner. The first step is actually to kindly answer this QR code, or scan this QR code rather. So this QR code, I'll give you a few seconds to use your mobile devices to take a snapshot of that, and then you can answer it along the way or maybe later. But it's just a quick survey. It will have 3 questions. So it's very easy to answer. It's very simple to use. And we'll use this survey to contact you if you're interested in forming a partnership, or if you want to progress some of your clients' requirements later on. Okay. Uh, Aside from this, the second step is actually to reach out to your aligned VST ECS representative. Okay. If you want to express further interest, or if you want to, let's say, engage in a technical update or technical or sales enablement session, you can reach out to our team or to your VST ECS representative, and we'd be happy to arrange that session for you and your team members. Okay. Now let me end with this slide, which was mentioned by our former CEO, Dheeraj Pandey, and basically saying business is more about people than technology. Technology is just a means to an end. With Nutanix's vision to overly simplify and make IT infrastructure very easy to use for our customers, we can give back to our customers more. Once we help them simplify their environment and make it easy for them to use, their people now have more time for more important things. Maybe more important things for their business, or maybe more important things like time for their family, time for their loved ones. And I believe with the partnership you've created with VST-ECS and VST-ECS also with Nutanix, I believe we can make it more about people. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. Again, thank you. Thank you to VST-ECS team. I'd like to congratulate you guys ahead, and it's been a good turnout, and the number of attendees are really a testament to the excellence that VST-ECS has throughout the Philippines. And we're happy to have shared this with you. Thanks again for your time. Salamat. Daghang salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Awi. Thank you for keeping your energy up, even if you are our last speaker for this event. Thank you. Very nice and very engaging presentation. Again, partners, please take on the call of Awi rather. Scan the code and reach out to our product specialist, for our product manager, Vince Zambo has provided us with her contact details. And for our partners, for our account executive rather in Cebu, please reach out to our salesperson, Hannah. If you could please ask your sales executive to send us the contact information handling our Nutanix. Let me direct. Okay, at the count of 3, please say cheese. All right, 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you so much, partners, for spending your afternoon with us. This has been a long afternoon, I'd say. So much solutions and technologies discussed and shared by our speakers. Maraming salamat on behalf of VST-ECS. Daghang salamat for accepting our invitation, and congratulations to Hannah's team for pulling this off.
Thank you, Mao.
Thank you, Ayo Amping.
Yes, and to all
Daghang
our
salamat.
partners, thank you so much for